Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. Welcome to the all-inspiring, the most crucial race of this Triple Crown. My name is Evil. Joining me in the comments box today is Vector, and hello Vector, and welcome along. Obviously, first time in the commentary box for the Triple Crown. You raced, of course, in the Indy 500. It's good to see some familiar faces, isn't it?
Yes, indeed, a lot of familiar faces tonight. We've seen Zellen before in the Indy 500, of course, and a lot of other drivers. Not Infinity, the one who won at the Indy 500, but still a lot of familiar faces like Skull from GT3 and EPR as well from GT3. So it'll be interesting to see all these guys go head to head.
Indeed, well, we've got Bono face, we've got 007, EPR, like you said, lots of fine faces, 6 LMP 1 cars, believe it's around about 10 GTE cars. I think it's going to be interesting.
Let's see, actually. Can't really see how much we can count though. 11, I think. You were one off.
One off. So close. Of course, the LMP 1 cars will be the first out on circuit. They will take up the first 15 minutes here. And when the 15 minutes is over, they'll come into the pit lane. And the GTE cars will come out. Now this circuit, very fast. As well, one of the fastest circuits in the world. Looking at Joshua Luke coming down the Mulsanne straight then into the first chicane as well. It's going to be interesting, Vector, what these drivers can do.
Yes, indeed, like you said, the first 15 minutes will be for the LMP cars. The second half of the half an hour is going to be for the GTE cars, so they don't drive in each other's ways, of course. We're quite frustrating if there's a GTE on the road, on a quali lap. So these fast guys are going first. Yeah, really long track, so we may see big differences in qualifying because, of course, one mistake can lead to the other and so forth. But in any case, I think Ethan is about to start a lap when he goes through the final sector.
Indeed, 38 corners around this legendary circuit. Ethan, as he blasts his way down towards the Porsche curbs, and it's going to be interesting, Vector, to see what they can do as well. So expect a lot of very exciting races, a lot of exciting moments in this race. Ethan blasts through. He was so quick earlier on. There is LMC George blasting it out, of which is Arnaud, and there is Ethan blasting it through the Porsche curves down towards the Corvette curve right now as he goes through. There is the Corvette curve there, fast through there underneath the Ford signs and then down into the Ford chicanes. Of course, the circuit opened in 1923, one of the oldest circuits in the world, but of course beaten by the likes of Brooklands, Monza, and as well as the famous Indianapolis
Silverstone, I think.
And Silverstone, actually, no, that was 1950 that first opened, actually. See, a World War II airport. There is one of the other Audis blasting it through turn number 1 as well. Through Dunlop they go, flat on the exit nearly on some occasions, even has a little bit of a lift off there. So racing a lot there. P4 on the grid is currently not set a lap time. He just came out of the pit lane, of course. Ethan, I believe, the first man who will finish his lap as well. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do.
Boniface also starting a lap after going through these corners. Oh, a bit wide there.
A bit wide into the Ford chicane, loses the rear end a little bit. Now remember, the Audi will be quickest here, most likely in qualifying. That's because how it's set up, of course. It's one of the quickest cars in qualifying. Expect it for the race to be a little bit different, of course. We know, as I've found out recently, the Porsche is quite quick. Dots out for the Toyotas. I believe there may be 1 or 2 lying around somewhere around this race as well. Down the S's they come. Beautiful stuff there. 250 kilometers an hour. Sliding on the exit as they come down to Tete Rouge. Watch out for this corner. Very easy to lose the rear end. Easy to get on those curbs. The rear end will always be there to be a victim as well. Now remember as well, especially with this Porsche, its ERS recharges when you're down the straight as well. So it's very easy to gain a little more pace down straight. However, Unlike the Audi, it is a lot less powerful. The Audi has a very powerful ERS system, and that's going to really help it in the long run. Of course, through the first chicane they go, and that, as they go down at the second of the Mulsanne Straight.
Yeah, you could see he was doing 322 kilometers an hour, so insane speeds.
Yeah, lightning fast. 312 plus kilometers an hour. Here, do you get your comments down in the chat? We do like seeing that. Coming up into the second chicane they come, then easy to do it, down to 130 kilometers an hour, down to 120 on the exit. Build the speed up now, you can use your ERS. He is using a bit of his ERS, so you can see that. Unfortunately, it doesn't show it as much on the telemetry, but we know he is using it because you can see the speed increasing dramatically there as they come down into the Mulsanne King. Changed a lot since the original corner, of course. They used to be going flat there a little bit and then taking the right. Now they take a bit more of a right into the apex and then breaking it down as well. A little bit deeper as they go through. Down onto the oldest section of the circuit, and this area of the Sirac Vector hasn't changed a lot since the 1960s.
Yeah, the only thing that changed is the next upcoming corner, that's Indianapolis. It used to be a lot tighter through there, but this whole part is virtually unchanged.
Indeed, 320 kilometers an hour, flat through here, I'd imagine, in the Porsche. Flat on the entrance, break it down into the second part of Indianapolis, now build it up towards Arnard. Very tricky corner this is, easy to lock up, down to 100 kilometers an hour, down to about 88 kilometers.
Even will finish
across the line and goes as fast as a 3:12.7. He is absolutely ecstatic with that one. Fantastic lap. Now, who's second across the line? I believe it might be not Race Line. He's starting his lap.
Oh, he's starting one.
So with the car behind him, who's it going to be? It might be Boniface, or it might be can't exactly tell. It might be LMC actually. It's going to come across the line. I think he's just ahead as well.
Joshua, not Joshua.
Must be Boniface. Then he's coming into the corner. Let's see the Porsche, one of two or three Porsches, the number 2 car, driven by, of course, I believe it was Mark Webber, and Brendan Hartley drove that car, if I'm not mistaken.
Really late on the brakes there.
Down to the Porsche Cayenne, second gear, up to third on the exit, now blasted to the straight. What's he going to be? He has a 3:12 to beat, and he does.
Oh, he's 7 seconds off.
That must have been a mistake around that lap.
LMC has actually got his lap time invalidated, track limits. I got on the computer, so he's starting another one. Well, I mean, he's starting another one.
Yep, Joshua here also down as well. Very close between those guys, though. Just under a 10th between Boniface and Joshua Luke. Leads to very fierce rivals, the number 1 and the number 2. There's David Ben in the Audi. He's on his lap currently, flying through the Corvette curve. And let's see what he does. It's a very good sector there. And let's see, just has to do the 4 chicanes now. The number 7, 300 kilometers an hour, breaks it down to about 160 into the entrance, down to about 100 on the exit, blast it through and across the line comes David Ben. Can he get that car up front, up to P2, but it's only 3.9 seconds off the pace there. So Ethan looking very comfortable right now there. 2:12.7 ahead of David Ben with a 3:16. Incredible pace from Ethan here.
Yeah, indeed, he's 4 seconds faster than the other Audi, and it just looks like that car is way faster than the Porsches actually.
Indeed, let's see what Sir Racelot can do. He's on his lap as well. We've got LMC also will have to do another lap. That's not going to help him, by the way, because his ERS will be a little bit low now because he got that invalid time. So he might actually be in a little bit of trouble now. 5 minutes to go until the first part of qualifying is done, and let's see what they can do.
I wonder if they're still on a lap when the timer ticks to 15. Will they be able to finish their lap times?
Indeed, bit of a wheel spin there. People say the Corvette curve. That is the corner after the Porsche curves, actually, which is, of course, the Corvette curve. Also could be known as karting as well. Depends on which version of it you follow. The Porsche curves very gentle. There he's going a little bit wide there. Bit of lag for him. On board we go. Oh, yeah, he's hit the wall on my screen there. I think a bit of lag there. Is that not that true?
Yeah, there's a bit of lag on my screen as well, but not as much as you, I think. Ooh, it looks like a connection is having a bit of a fit, but let's see what his lap time will be either way.
Yep, through karting, down the brakes into the Corvette chicane and the Ford chicane. as well. As Soup maybe will join us later on, by the way. If you're here to wonder if Soup's going to be here in the commentary box, he will be here. But right now it is me and Vetro and across the line, and that is
second
place, 1.2 seconds off the leader, 1:13.998, and that is a fantastic lap for him. These drivers will have one more lap to do if they can do it. And MC George, he has to do a lap. He's currently 6th, hasn't set a lap time yet. He's getting passed by David Ben, I believe. Or was that Boniface on the outside? It'd be Boniface, I believe. Yes, it would be.
Boniface, indeed. He will finish his second lap, I think, or start another one.
Yeah, he'll get one more lap into it if he can do it. Down with the brakes. Very late, that Porsche race. Through the corner, sliding the rear end there. Down to 120 kilometers an hour. Build the speed back up, and now he'll begin another lap then. And actually, he's just improved his lap time there. 1.5 up, that puts him P4, but not enough, like you said.
He's still 5, almost 6 seconds off, but he gets another chance. Let's see. Oh, Joshua Lucas faster as well.
Yeah,
almost a second faster than Boniface.
He's running a bit tight there. 3 minutes a lap. He might not get another lap in, you know. Even though he won't get another lap in, surely I believe 15 minutes is the limit, and then they will have to come in when that 15-minute mark ends. I don't know if they can finish the lap if they started it. Maybe that might be the case.
We'll be able to finish it.
So either way, that's going to be very lucky indeed. Depends where you start the lap.
But that will also limit the time the GTE guys have. So I think at the 15-minute mark they can just go out on track.
Yeah.
But of course they'll be in the way of the faster LMP cars.
It depends well on the circuit though, as well of course. The 15 minutes mark means they come out. Hopefully by then all the LMP cars have been at least in the middle sector, so they will not get held up. George down to the brakes into the first chicane. Looks okay there, down to 130 kilometers an hour. Build it up on the exit. He is doing a good job, Low. The Audi Low of Thomas Ethan currently lies himself at P1 with a stonky lap, by the way, a 3:12. He's going back out, I think, potentially for one more lap, if he can do it. But he's really assuring his dominance in qualifying. Of course, Low, this race expected to rain around midpoint, of course. It's a 2 hours, about 2 hours and 20 minutes of race. Of course, the formation lap will take up most of that. They're limited to 80 miles an hour, which I believe is a little more in kilometers an hour. I think that's about 130 kilometers an hour, if I'm not mistaken. Do correct me if I'm wrong, Vetro, but I think that is the case.
About 120, yes, because 60 is 100 kilometers an hour.
It's very close. That even goes through 320 kilometers an hour faster. A bit of a break there, a little lift up as well in towards second part. That's a bit deep there into the gravel, pushing a little bit too hard there. But okay for him there, down towards Arnaud. And he has got to have a massive chance here. Joshua Luke and Boniface coming through into Arnaud. Comes Boniface. Looks like he's still on another lap right now, so he's keeping going. Build the speed up. That is Ethan just ahead of him, I believe, there, coming towards the Porsche curbs. Now, look at the speed there. He's almost out of ERS now. 290, almost 300 kilometers an hour. 6 tenths down on his best so far. 300 kilometers an hour. He hits the apex on the inside. Hooks it up quite well. Now, just to let the car slide through the exit. It'll be okay. Let's see what he can do. 260 kilometers on the exit. And it's looking good. Down towards karting. Chuck it in once the rear end doesn't step out. And it is doing a brilliant job so far.
He's using every inch of the track.
Into the chicane. It's looking so good so far. Boniface chucks it in. Front end comes round. Crosses the line. Can he improve? I don't think so there. Crosses the line, no, 9 attempts down.
Oh, almost a second down. Well, only 30 seconds to go in the session, so this will be his final lap if he is able to finish it. LMC sets a time, 2 seconds down.
Yeah, up to P3 though, so that's an impressive lap for him. So it is Audi and I think it's a top 3 for Audi if I'm not mistaken there, Vectro. Ooh, bit of...
Yes, it is.
Very laggy there for Sir Race-A-Lot. Let's switch the camera view there. There's David Ben, currently P4 in the other Audi as well. So all the Audis proving, like I said earlier on, absolutely dominating qualifying here today. And you have to say that is going to put them in a very, very big chance of the race there. Comes David Ben into the chicane, a little bit wide there. down into the last corner. Just need to chuck it in, build the speed up, cross the line. Currently P4, can he improve? Yes, he can, but 1 second. Does it do anything? No, it doesn't. Puts him very close. Now, all of the GTE cars are starting to come out on circuit as well.
Yes, I think they are actually. Yeah, I can see movement. I can see movement in the pit lane, so...
Yep,
yeah,
be like
they're coming out.
Yep, Friday, coming out in the Corvette. A lot of Corvettes here today. A few of the Fords, and I think maybe one of the Aston Martins. I'm not too certain, but we'll keep updated if we find out all of that. There is Alan in the Ford, the number 8 Ford. Beautiful livery, the yellow and black. Reminds me of the old days of Gran Turismo, and I think it was the concept game. Always have that livery. Incredible livery. There's the Corvette of Mantu. Of course, Gold also driving that livery as well. The bright yellow, there's 007 Professional, and he is going to be doing whatever he can do. And the Ford in the background there, one of the other Fords as well. So a lot of Fords, a lot of Corvettes. There is Gold in the other Corvette there. The number 63, Young Magnussen's car, as that is. There's Duke Miles there. I believe, remember that name for quite a while, Vetro. I haven't seen him for a while at all. GTE, GT3 Pro, I believe he was back in the day. I think he's a little bit higher than that now. Thomas Eford, he's still on his lap, by the way, so he's not given up. He's the last, I believe. Oh, he's really pushing. And well, now that lap is definitely over. A bit too hard. Looked like he just used a bit too much ERS there. Pushed it a little bit too hard on the exit. Gone on the curb, on the grass, and that is a mistake. That's really cost him in the long run.
There's a car off. There was Boniface that was going off. Yeah, in Indianapolis, I think. I think he went off in Indianapolis, and that cost him his lap time.
Yeah, Ethan going to come in the pit lane, I imagine, this lap. He might just finish it off low. I think he's actually
no, he's
done.
not.
Yep.
No. Joshua Luke can still improve, though. He's still on track.
Yep, it's the last of the LMP bunch to finish the lap, of course. 12 minutes to go, so he's gone rather late, of course. Not sure what the regulation says about if you can continue after a little bit longer, but he's going to carry on. One more lap, of course, and then we'll see the GTE cars coming around. All of them. It's incredible to see all of them are about 8 or 9 cars there, blasting around this circuit. Incredible stuff to see. So many GTEs and a few LMPs, of course. Only 6, of course, limited them due to the fact that it's DLC, of course. You have to pay for it. Big slide for Joshua Luke there. And how he caught that, I have no idea. Sideways through the entrance of the Porto Curbs. Normally you do that. That's straight to the scene of the accident. But he caught it. And that is very good stuff, though. I think that might have cost him a little bit of time.
He did not get a good line through there.
Yeah.
He got a really long line to the corners, so that will cost him a lot of time.
Down into the chicane. Let's see if he can do anything there. Down he comes. Down into 5th gear. Down into 4th. Up to...
We brake too late.
A little bit too late. Might hinder him a little bit, though. On the exit. Blasting to the line. Can he find any time in the Porsche? No, he can't. 8 attempts down, and that is him. Done. Now, towards the GTE battles, and who's going to be the first to cross the line to start their lap? I believe it might be Friday.
Let's see. Well, you're really close. He's second.
Car ahead of Friday, then. Who does it come out on first on second? A bit hard to see, but we'll find out in due course.
Oh, ourselves last.
PSR Jake in the...
PSR Jake.
There's Matt in the Corvette. Duke Miles in the Corvette as well. Lots of Corvettes here today then.
I don't know who was last, but it's the car in front of Friday, and he will start his lap right now.
Yeah, indeed, driving also the Corvette as well. Lots of Corvettes. Not seem to see no Porsche for Rise, but Friday starts his lap then. The number 10 car. Blasting down the straight up into the first corner. Dunlop Bridge, the Dunlop curve lane, very famous little secret to the corners as they come into the first. You get a little bit deep there, locks up the left front under the very famous Dunlop Bridge. We've seen that for a long time, a few decades of course, been there since the 70s. Scold leaves the pit lane in the number 63 car as
He's
well.
He's into the pit lane again.
Yeah.
He was on track, but
must have made a mistake.
I think, or he resets to it. He reset to it because he made a setup mistake, possibly, or put in not enough fuel or too much, or he's just making a run through the pit lane. But either way, he will have less time to set a lap time now.
Yeah, he's going to have to push now. Professional there, 007, and let's see what he can do as well. One of only, I think, 3 or 4 Fords here. and it's in a home where Ford famously took it to Ferrari back in the 1960s. Can Ford score a pole position, or will they be upbeaten by their little cousins, of course, the Corvettes? We'll find out in just under 9 minutes. And let's see who is it going to be putting that car on that front row. It's going to be interesting. I feel that's going to be between one of these guys, and it's Manitou, the first person who's going to set a lap time.
The man, Mantu.
Yep, Manitou. Into the second chicane. Easy does it, or the third technically, but the second down the Mulsanne straight. Build the speed up now into the little curve area. Flat, of course, in these cars. Back in the day, of course, a very tricky corner, especially when the chicane wasn't there. Back, of course, in the 60s, all the way up to, I believe, 1993. Famously the fastest car ever around here, did 253 miles an hour. I don't expect to see anywhere near that, about 210 potentially for the likes of the top guys. These guys, of course, doing about 170 to 190 down the straight into the Mulsanne kink, and he seemed to do that very well there. In comes Friday as well. Loses the rear end a little bit there, but okay for him as well. Looking good so far for these Corvettes, isn't it, Vectro?
Looking good so far, indeed. Yeah, we haven't seen any lap times, of course, yet. But let's see, RS is quite close behind someone. I don't know the liveries yet, so I do not know all the names yet.
Friday's not Friday, I believe, actually. Duke's actually.
Same livery, it looks like.
Yeah, same livery. Might be Duke's. I'm not too certain, of course. There is Duke's. He's coming into Indianapolis. Let's look at him then. Here he comes. A little bit of lift up, bit of a break. 220 kilometers an hour. Throw down towards the second part of Indianapolis. Now wants it towards Arnard. This car and this circuit is very a tricky combination, in my opinion. I've done a few laps, of course, in this car. Didn't end well for me. Not tend to be very good on this game, of course. 100 and 200 kilometers an hour as they build it up now towards the Porsche curves. The Corvette, I believe, has the quickest top speed of all of these cars. So it's going to be interesting, Vetro, down, especially on that one, down towards the first chicane.
Yeah, it will be really interesting because, yeah, how will they fare against LMP, of course? I think they will not be able to hold. Yeah, but if an LMP makes a mistake and they can get it front, I think the difference is way high. So I do not think the GTEs can challenge anywhere near the LMPs.
Yeah, I doubt that as well. Remember, of course, the drivers, I believe, have been briefed about this. If they're getting lapped, keep out of the way. Manitou, though, crosses the line to set the first lap. Very sideways, to say, and I believe he's actually got his lap time invalidated there.
They're still starting a lap time.
Ah, yes, my apologies. Friday actually sets the first lap time, 3:54. So he did get his lap time invalidated there then. Second place as EPR goes up. Chilling. Oh, there's a car off. That's one of the Fords going back to the pit lane there, and that must be Zalin. Yes, it is. He's gone off there on the entrance there of the Corvette curve, or karting as they normally call it these days nowadays. Jake,
there was also someone else had a mistake.
Someone else made a mistake as well. Jake up to P2. Good luck to him.
007, another representative lap time. Yeah. Of course, he slowed down as well. RS now comes to the line. In front of, I think that's Zelen. It's not. It was... I'm not sure. Anyway, EPR is now in first position. VSR is in second. With 2 seconds difference actually, so that's quite a big margin. Friday in third, Dukes is in fourth actually. Matthew is in fifth, RS is in sixth.
007.
007
in seventh, ironically. Scald P8 currently, he's not set a lap time either. He made a mistake, I believe, on his first attempts. He went off, I believe, somewhere around the circuit. Someone's gone off into the chicane, and that almost had Scald off in the chicane just when I mentioned it. That looks to me like he's struggling there. It looked like on the curb or something, Vatra, a little bit there.
It looked like it, yeah. A bit of too much throttle coming out of the corner. But I can also see on the race feed, Scott had his lap time invalidated, and as well as Mantu. And Zelen, yeah, Zelen was the one that didn't have a lap time.
Yeah, it looked like he spun it down into the first or second part of the Porsche curves. So very easy thing to do. There is RS Liquor, currently sitting behind one of the other Corvettes there. And he's currently 9 tenths.
He's going 1 second quicker.
Yeah, nice toe he's getting actually off the Corvette. And it might be Friday, I believe, maybe ahead of him. Hard to see right now, of course, but same livery. Down to the second chicane. Easy does it. Slow it down. And he's getting an absolutely mega toe right now. But Dirty Air will be affecting him. There's Friday. So I don't know exactly who it is. Hopefully we can find that out. Very difficult to see, of course. But he's getting a mega toe here. And remember, currently P6 so far on the timings. And he's going to get an absolutely incredible run of 45 seconds off the pace, of course, to the LMP guys. But he's only got to find just 5 seconds really to get up to the front here. And he's going to get held up a little bit here, and that's not like you want to see. He's not going to get through there. We'll have to lift off. This could end badly if he doesn't. Side by side, the Golden Pink House just lifted up a little bit there. Still side by side.
Whoa.
They don't want to be doing this in qualifying, boys. No, there's a car right in front, and that is Zallen again having trouble here as RS goes down the inside into Indianapolis. And I have to say, that's a little bit interesting in qualifying. I'm having a little bit of battle there. Reminds me of the F1 in qualifying yesterday with Alonso and Magnussen there battling.
But RS really got away well from that because it could have killed the lap time. By the way, the guys are setting the second lap time. But of course we cannot see who is who during the qualifying, unfortunately.
Indeed, of course. 3 minutes to go, so the lap time's pretty much. They'll have one more to do after this one. Once the timer runs out, they'll have just to the end of their lap to do. EPR, that's who it is that we've been looking at, I believe, maybe. So difficult. They're all running the same livery right now. Very difficult. EPR runs a little bit deep into R&R, so there, locks the front right up. Just about managed to slow it down. There is 007. Through karting he comes. A little bit wide there. Might get himself in a bit of trouble with track limit. Down into the chicanes they come, then towards the fourth chicane. Shut the front end. The rear end comes around. Beautiful stuff there. From the fourth, through the fourth chicane. Across the line he comes. Currently P7. Can 007 get himself up the grid? Yes, he can. Up to P5 there. Several seconds quicker there. A 3:55.2 for him.
Oh, it was Zallen actually.
Yeah.
I keep getting confused with all the liveries actually. They all look the same.
Yep, Zallen, who's been struggling so terribly here in qualifying. He spun, I believe, once or twice there, the number 8 car. And he'll start his lap now with only 2 other drivers there. So that time Scold is not on the circuit. So he is going to be starting P14 or lower here. All Zallen has to do is just set a lap time and he'll start ahead of Scold. So what has happened to Scold, I do not know. Incredible stuff to see.
The cars still out on track are EPR, Friday, the VSR. Mantu, he needs a lap time because he hasn't set a lap time yet. And like you said, Skalf, not setting a lap time, possibly issue with the car or just, he got one invalidated, of course. He got it for the second time as well, so maybe just getting it all wrong. And Zallen as well, still to set the lap time, but they're all on the nose end right now.
Of course, a critical mistake. This is such a large circuit, and they only have 15 minutes to set a lap time, of course. Meaning that small mistake really has cost him, of course. Especially in these cars, a 4-minute lap time, nearly. It's so difficult. I mean, to make a mistake, of course, that's going to cost him huge in the race, but it's 2.4 hours of racing, so anything can still happen, Vexro.
Yes, you're absolutely right there. 2.4 hours. The qualifying, it's actually nothing compared to what these guys have to do in a moment. 2 hours and 25 minutes on the clock. So, yeah, there can be a lot of action in that 2 hours.
Well, let's find out, of course. Only just 12 seconds to go until qualifying is over. So the laps, whatever they set, will be their representative lap time then. Because qualifying, the clock to begin the countdown to the final is going to begin right now then. So they have 220 seconds to finish the lap. Of course, they will finish their lap in that time. That's quite a very large amount of time. It's almost 5 minutes I believe, give or take, to set a lap time. Slightly less than that, but it's about 3 minutes, but still. Manitou, through he comes then into the exit of the Porter Curves. You've seen very spectacular crashes in that car before, in the Corvette. Remember Jan Magnussen, which is the livery Skulls driving, crashed there. Coincidence maybe because Skulls not set a lap time? I think not. Well, we'll find out, of course, in a little bit of time who's going to be starting where on the grid. But so far through the chicane comes Manitou. He's currently P9. Can he get that car up the grid at all? Very slideways through that. Also very sideways in the background goes one of the other Corvettes. Here comes Manitou. He's currently P9. He has to go up. P1!
He's got P1!
Fantastic lap time there. 3:52.3. Blast EPR to annihilation, but he's on a lap time as well. Sideways through Indianapolis. Sideways on the exit. He is pushing it. Absolutely fantastic. Down towards Arnard. What can he do? Brakes it late there. Down 80 kilometers an hour. Sideways on the exit. This is going to be close.
Friday is not setting a lap time anymore. He is gone into the pits. VSR also still on the lap, and Zellen coming through the
Porsche curves.
those curves. Porsche,
curves.
yeah. So let's see what kind of lap time he can do, and after that we will go to EPR because I think he's on a really fast lap.
Here goes Alan, side race through Cardi, and we have to say, taking a little bit of a karting route there. It's completely side race. Down into the Corvette chicane he comes then. Break it down there, 250 kilometers an hour, down to about 150. A bit lower than that, gets on the curb, and that's a bit of a mistake for him. Through the second puff and crosses the line. I think he might have just got away with that one. Comes to the line, does he improve? P1! He goes fastest as well. 3:52, can anyone else improve? What can EPR do? Here comes the line, can he improve? Can he get that car on the front row? Can he do it? No, he can't. Yes, he's up to P2. Yes, he has done it. P2 by only 20 thousandths of a second there. And what can VSR do now? This is incredible here for the GTE pole. Can VSR get that car up the front row? He's got just a few more corners to go, then down into the chicane. What can the Ford do into the Chevrolet chicane, down into the Ford chicane? Can he do anything? Bit wide there, through he comes. 100 kilometers an hour, take it nice and tidy. Come to the line. What can VSRJ do? Can he get up the grid? Up only to P4.
Position. Wow,
and
look at how close it was at the end.
Gets pole position here. I believe some more people may be on their lap. I'm not too certain. I don't think so. And that is going to be that over. Incredible there.
From last to first. So unbelievable.
Ethan will take pole in the LMP8 grid from VP. LMC in third there. So racing lot there in P2. In third position, LMC George. P4 is David Ben ahead of Joshua Luke. Boniface will line up beside him in P6 on that there. In first position in the GTE group, it's Zalen ahead of EPR Archel. And then there is Man, and then VSR Jake. He's currently lining himself up on the second row there. Incredible performance from him. Friday currently in P number in behind them as well.
P number behind them.
P1 behind them. Lost my words there. So there we go then. The official grid for them there for the 24 Hours of Le Mans circuit. They're 2.4 hours lie ahead. This circuit, of course, not situated in the UK. If it was, I'd go there every day. It's situated in France, if you didn't know that. But of course, this game everywhere is the UK. Don't know why. They still have to mend that. But impressive performance from the four Audis, lining themselves up P1, 2, 3, and 4. GTE though, it's going to be interesting with a battle between the Corvettes and the Fords.
Will we have an information lap as well?
Yep, formation lap, of course, limited to 80.
Well, that's gonna take it.
Yep, yeah,
it's gonna take a while.
Absolute age. 80 miles an hour, their limits to do list. And so he may stay here a while, but got Ethan there lining up on P1 so far. It'll be interesting to see as well what version of the car has everyone taken. That's going to be the crucial thing. In the background, Scold, he didn't set a lap time. The only driver not to set a lap here. I believe RSL also did not set a lap time, but there is Zalen. He's going to line himself up in P1 in a line of Corvettes behind him and a few Fords right at the back. Very, very spread out between those guys. That's going to be the thing we'll keep an eye on. But up front, 4 Audis, 2 Porsches, and that is going to be the battle there for supremacy. Unfortunately, I'd like to see 2 of those Audis as 2 Toyotas, but unfortunately, we can't have that. Can't have everything, of course. Like to see a bit of variety. Only 3 different cars, of course, in the LMP1 Hates group, but only 2 of them being 2. That is the Audis and the Porsche here. And only 2 cars as well.
Can I find a gap? Yeah. Scald was the only one not to set a lap time. So
Yeah.
RSL also did set a lap time, but he was 1 second off of Matsu.
Yeah, that is a shame for him, but I still don't know what happened to Skull. Just looked like he didn't manage to get that time. Well, here we go then. The formation lap. 80 miles per hour, which should be about 130 kilometers an hour, give or take. 120 to 130. We'll find out when they get to that speed, of course. So, 5 laps will go on. Rate 5 seconds, and they'll roll off the line one by one. Rate 5.
Someone's got a penalty as well. It's Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew. Jump start. 20
what
seconds.
Kind of penalty? 20 seconds. That's gonna ruin the race already before it even started.
Well, never say never, though. And here they go then. So, critical mistake from Matthew getting a penalty before the race even begun on the formation lap there. Must have been a little bit too keen there to start, and that is going to affect him massively. It's a 2.4-hour race, remember, so 20 seconds is not a lot in a race this long. Of course, like, if it was a 24-hour race, it would mean even less, of course. If it was a 2-minute penalty, maybe it might affect him a little bit, of course. 20 seconds, if he has got the pace, it won't affect him too much. But does he come then through the first chicane then, and then bring a little bit sideways in the back with that Scold having a bit of a battle there with RS as well. So those two getting a little bit close on the beginning of the formation lap there. A little bit unneeded, unnecessary. The Vectro, all these drivers are going to have to be careful now for 2 hours 23 minutes, and they're already doing about 130 kilometers an hour, 140 for some of them as well. That's going to be interesting, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. Hopefully we don't see any spins on formation laps, because that will be quite harsh as well.
Yeah, it'll be very, very dramatic stuff if we see any cars go off the road, any mistakes at all. It's going to affect them absolutely dramatically here. VSR Jake, Friday, Dukes, 007, Matthew, RS Licker, Scold down the back. And he's going to have a lot of work to do. He was the quickest driver, by the way, in practice. A couple of days ago, of course, they were doing some of the kind of little social races, a little bit of a test to see where the cars were. Scold is one of the quickest in the drive, even quicker in the wet. Remember, rain expected around about lap 12 estimated. That was we're told just 12, around just past lap 12. That was talking to Ethan earlier on your pole setup, and he said expect the rain to be coming just around the end of the first round of pit stops for the LMP guys. 12 laps they can do, and there is LMC George off the road there, and he's down the back now. How has he done that? Has there been contact there or something? Doesn't look like there's any damage, but he's dropped it, and now I can only imagine he's going to have to start down the back. He has damage, yeah. Look, right front, a little bit of bodywork damage. So he's hit that wall somewhere.
They're warming up the tires, of course, and maybe he spun it himself, or maybe he got a touch from someone, but he's lining up behind, or is he going to try to overtake? He's overtaking.
Pass, and that's a bit close there to one of the Fords. That is RSL there. They've got to be very careful there. He doesn't collect anyone there. The drivers flashing their lights, and there's another one there. All getting out of the way of him there. LMC George might get a little bit told off for that there. He's definitely got damage on the right front Vectro.
Unbelievable what happened there. Really, really dangerous. There's going to be some talk about that, because I don't think that was worth the risk.
Chat, spun while warming tyres up. So he has spun while warming those tyres up there, so he's popped in the chat. Thank you there, Joshua Luke, for letting us know. Don't know if he hit the wall or not. Maybe. So Joshua Luke keeping a firm eye on everything there. Has he got his position back? Yes, I think he has, yes.
I think he has, but that was way too risky what he did.
Yeah.
Almost just going full throttle when people are warming up the tires. It's he almost made contact with one of the GTE cars as well.
I'm not sure if he's Menery getting his position. I'm maybe he might just get very lucky of it there. It's a long lap, 80 kilometers an hour currently. Are all warming those tyres up. Oh,
I love how the camera is shaking even though they're not really having speed.
Yeah, a bit of a cameraman's a bit. He's a very excited, shall we say here, as the drivers warm up their
he's
tyres.
really excited.
Yep, he's a bit too excited so far. In the background, of course, all the GTE cars, and we can only say, what can they do? It's gonna be exciting.
We're really exciting. I think there will be a tight battle. Of course, one lap pace does not say anything about pace over 2.5 hours, so anything can still happen.
Yeah, anything can still happen. It usually will here. 2 hours and 20 minutes, of course. 2 and 2 just there for a brief second. And this is going to be exciting. 16 cars driving around 38 of the finest corners you'll see in motorsport history. The most famous race, in my opinion, of the Triple Crown. Of course, the only other one after this, we've done Indy. We've done this one here coming up, which is the 20, was the Circuit de la Sarthe. The only one now is the Costa d'Azur, which of course is most famously known as the Monaco Grand Prix. From the Ray, I believe, the cars will be racing around there, Vex, right? That's going to be interesting. May still change.
That's going to be really, really tough, actually.
Yeah, don't quote me on that.
And I expect a lot of chaos,
yeah,
to be honest.
Well, remember Indianapolis, when we saw only 4 drivers finishing. Hopefully you have a few more than 4 drivers finishing today. Same length of race, I believe, give or take, actually, Vex, right?
Possibly, yes. I think the Indy 500 was just under 3 hours long.
Yeah, that's going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes. Of course, this one just slightly less of a length. But here they go, though. That famous music, of course, of 2001: A Space Odyssey comes into mind around about now. As they build up, ready to go for the beginning of what is going to be a very exciting. Who is going to win round kind of 2 of this Triple Crown there? Who's going to take it? The winner of the first one, I believe, who won the first one?
Infinity.
Infinity. He's not in Group A, so we'll have to see where he is, if he's in Group B or not. Hard to tell. So we'll have a second winner in the second part of the Triple Crown. Or can Ethan take a surprise victory? 50 litres only in the Audis. One of the least amount of fuel they'll take of all the drivers there, as they're all bunching up then towards the beginning of one of the most famous races, one of the most intense races you'll ever see. The only other one you can think of might be Indianapolis, it might be Monaco. But here we go, look, through the chicane to begin one of the greatest races of all time.
You can see the whole field there going through the final corners.
Here we go, look. Ethan will lead them away. Let's see. Wait for the light, wait for the green. And we are racing, and Ethan blasts off the line there. Fantastic start. He's left everyone running behind there. One of the Porsches coming up through the field. That looks to be Joshua Luke up to P3 already. Fantastic start for him. Who's it going to be in the background though? Looks like they're all going to get through turn 1 completely.
The lead.
Yep, they are going to get through turn 1
again?
completely. Thomas Ethan leads from VP there. Joshua Luke up to P3 ahead of David Bett, LMC. George there currently P5. And everyone running so far so cleanly. But a good start from Joshua Luke blasting it past those 2 Audis. Ethan currently leads.
Away.
Yeah, he's already second up the road there. Fantastic start. So Race-A-Lot going to be behind. Then comes Joshua Luke under pressure from the Audi there. And I do not think that Toyota is going to have anything to that Audi. Blast it past. And Joshua Luke has nothing to fight there down the straight.
You can just see the overspeed of the Audi.
No, in the back of him and around goes George. That was a bit too optimistic there. Lock the rears up there. And that's going to be a bit of damage. They'll stay comfortably ahead of the GTE cars. There they come. Zalad leads, so no change so far in those top guys. Where's Skull? He's currently P13.
VSR has made a mistake because he has now got a penalty.
Yeah, he's got a penalty. A good start from Skull, by the way. Currently P13, so he started last. Up to P13, now he's challenging as well. So one of Ethan's closest alloys currently down in P13. Might have to be having a look at Dukes as well a little bit there in the background. Boniface currently P4. And already the Porsches starting to drop back, but LMC George made that mistake and that's dropped him down. And there's the battle there. That's Friday. There is EPR. Those two are going to be battling hard throughout this race. And let's see what they can do. It's a good run, by the way, from Man there. He's got a brilliant run. Zalen's under pressure from Man 2 down towards the Mulsanne Cup. Is he close enough to be in striking distance? Is he going to pop a little bit too early to make anything yet? Has to sit behind. And let's look at the background. Is he going to make any moves into the first opportunity? Not yet. So they're all going to be nice and clean through. But everyone so far so clean, apart from LMC George, who unfortunately spun. Of course, got a bit too optimistic behind David Ben. Look at the speed they come through there. All spinning up. That's the ERS, by the way, if you're wondering. So Racing Lot's keeping with Ethan, though, up front, and that is good to see.
Yeah, he was already side by side into the first corner. So, Ethan manages to hold on to the first position. But that will be a battle to look out for.
Indeed, we'll keep an update on how that goes. A little bit of
start up to 11th.
Let's go, fantastic start, by the way. Yeah, like I said, he's 11th. He started last, so he's overtaken almost 5 cars already, and that is absolutely incredible pace. From the Englishman, of course, lives up a little bit north, of course, near Birmingham, and he's doing a fine old job.
CVP, the gap is now 1 second.
Yep.
But anything is still possible in this motor race.
Indeed, 2-hour race, of course. It's so... 1 second is not a lot in this length of race. I expect, of course, the field is going to be spread out a little bit. There's Matthew and RS Licker. They're currently lining astern. And let's see. RS having a little bit of a look there on the exit of the Porsche curbs. This is where the Ford is a little bit better than the Corvette. Now down towards, well, Corvette chicane. Through karting he comes. RS a little bit on the grass there. These guys there running quite well. P9 as well, and these guys are right up front as well of this group. Salenlo leads the way, and he is doing a fine old job so far, being P1 of this group, ahead of the rest of the groups. Friday and Skull doing a good job actually. Currently guys himself P6 in that group, of course, P11 overall. And let's see what they can do in the long run, battling up front, by the way. It's 1.7 seconds now. Ethan opened that gap, and now look at it close down with the slipstream. And that's going to be
David Ben already 6 seconds behind. The Boniface and LMC are getting a bit closer now.
Yep, LMC starting to put the attack back on now, so I'll expect that to close down in the coming laps. The Audi, it should have the pace advantage, but never say never. Salen still ahead of Man 2. That gap is 0.6 of a second. Then comes the gaggle of cars here. There's VSRJ. Friday closing up. Here we go, round the outside. The Ford doesn't seem to have the straight line speed there compared to the Corvette. And the Corvette says, thank you very much, I'll have P3 so far. But never count that car out, of course. The Ford may be a bit slower down the straight, but it's very nippy around the corners.
Every car has, of course, its own traits and let's see, weak points. But RS has gone through to take 14th position off of Matthew. Yep, Matthew has got a 20-second penalty, and when he's all the way in last, it's not looking very bright for him.
Here we go then.
Here comes VSR again.
Yep, it's back down the inside in second second. As I mentioned, it's pretty nimble occasion for the corners. Got a good slipstream. That's Skull, by the way, just behind him. These are looking for P3 in this race. He gets a good exit there. Bit sideways though, a bit too much curb, I'm afraid, and that's going to cost him that. But the number 63 suddenly comes back through, and that is, of course, the car of Jan Magnussen. Skull driving, although he's gifted the car, hopefully he takes good care of it. Down towards the Mulsanne he comes, and let's see what he can do then. In the slipstream, bit too far back there. Let's see what the other Corvette can do a Friday. Behind, of course, VSRJ. Try and have a look around the outside into the corner. Won't be doing it there. Let's look out, of course, for Skull. He's getting close, a bit too close there. Now, there's not a lot he can do here. Can't really make the move. He's going to have to just sit behind here. Just be patient. Just be a little bit patient here. He's going to try on the outside here. He's a little bit too close there. A little bit on the grass. Here we come then. Look up the Ford here. He's going to try it on the Ford, I think, you know. It's going to be close. They're almost going to go free abreast there. They're going to go side by side. This could be a bit close. Has to back off there. Scored off the grass.
He runs
on
wide.
the circuit. Does he get the inside? He does get the inside, but I don't think he'll have to keep that position. Jay just about gets the car ahead. And Scold still trying around the outside there. Let's see, can he do anything? Forced a little bit wide. And that won't do a lot for him. Now look at Friday coming back through. Great battling here for what is going to be the podium in GTE as well. It's good to see. Such a close race so far. From the in, lap 4, and these guys are battling like it's the last lap.
Look how close it is. So much risk during the opening stage of this race, but of course early advantage can be, of course, really important advantage.
Indeed.
Even's got a penalty, by the way.
Ah, track limit.
Even's getting the penalty.
1 second, I'd imagine. We'll have a quick check in a little while.
It depends on which corner, of course. But now it proves that the GTE is a way closer class than LMP and Fiat.
Yeah. Oh, down the inside of the chicane. There's going to be contact there. He just got out of that there. Friday, trying to dive it on the Sunday. And almost didn't have a day at all. That'll be a day to remember if he did spear into the side of Skull. Just got out of it. 007 there on the back of Duke Miles. Duke Mills, of course, as you may pronounce him. They're still battling up front.
The leaders.
And Zallen gets a good exit. He's just been overtaken, I believe. He's battling with Manitou here, side by side. Through the curves they come. And Zallen retakes the lead, if I'm not mistaken, there from Manitou. These two are going to be battling for a while. Corvette versus Ford. Two Americans, the only Americans on the circuit, of course, in terms of the cars. Only American cars in the GTE group. And let's see, what can Manitou do? Slipstream down the straight, and I believe it's going to be a drag race here. Manitou in the Corvette against the Ford, the mighty Ford. The Ford that was so dominable in the mod in 20 when it first ever arrived. And so far, a close and even battle here on Project Cars 2 in the 2.4 hours of Le Mans. And that's still well said though. Ford's got a bit of straight line speed on Zallen's version of the car, so it's been good, isn't he?
Yes, he really is. Looks like it's going to be a really close battle for all the top podium positions. Dukes and 007 also really close to each other. And it looks like Matthew is dropping a bit behind, as well as RS. But let's go back to even though, and let's see how much penalty it has. 2 seconds. PSR also 2 seconds.
Yeah, well that is going to be crucial then. So that I imagine would be Rude. He's gone off at there. Just over 2 hours to go, by the way, in this race. And now we come to the stage where there's a lot of battling going on, especially in the GTE group. But up here, in the LMP group, the only battles really so far is between Ethan and VP, of course. But VP does have the lead so far in this race of Sir Race-A-Lot. Because he is under 2 seconds, just only under 2 seconds behind Ethan. That's a 2 second time penalty.
He runs wide.
Very deep. Zallen's gone off into the gravel. Like I said, Vetto ran a bit too deep there. Locked the car up, went straight on. And a little bit too under pressure there, I'd imagine there.
In the background, VSR and Friday really close to each other.
Skull dropped back a little bit there compared to these guys there. So VSR Jake now under pressure from Friday again though. And let's see what Friday can do. And they're at least top 2. 0.6 of a second, so Ethan's not pulling away. So Race-A-Lot, he's racing very, very hard. He's racing a lot, so you say. He's in the slipstream, and I can imagine if he gets a good run, a nice amount of tow, he'll close up a lot. But Ethan's very nimble, 320 kilometers an hour down the straight as they keep building. This is almost 200 miles an hour plus.
Yeah, he's going 330, look at this.
He's closing up massively here, but a little bit too far back into the first chicane to make a dive.
You've got the slipstream and the ERS, of course.
Yeah, he wants to try and do it down the straight if he's close enough. He's 5/10. Is he close enough here as EPR?
EPR?
Out of the race.
There's been a crash somewhere then. We must have missed that, but here comes the VPR. Oh, really close to even, and he almost hits him, it looks like. And he's losing time. He almost hit him. Let's see. VSR still in third position. Friday behind him, and Scott following suit.
Scott made a bit of a mistake there, actually. Lost the rear end into the exit of the Forza Curbs, and Ethan's gone wide. He's gone off the road, and this could be an opportunity for Sir Race-A-Lot here. The battle for the first position here, and they almost touch down the straight. Ethan weaves a little bit there. Says you're not coming through here, and Sir Race-A-Lot is going to have to try any opportunity he can here. Bit too optimistic. I wouldn't try it down into Indianapolis. Force the inside to unsettle Ethan. Can't do a lot there.
That was really, really close. It looked like a bit of a quick move from Ethan there, cutting him off there. And of course, that's something you can't really do on that straight because it's so narrow.
Yeah,
you really see the smoke when they're just pulling away.
Yeah, that's the ERS, of course. There, the wheel spin from the ERS shows up dramatically here, but that was a little bit too close to comfort, in my opinion. But they got away with it.
Yes, it really was. There could have been both of the leaders out of the race really easily.
Well, so far a great race for these top two here. Ethan leads though by now 1.2 seconds from Sir Race-A-Lot. David Ben currently in P3, George up to P4 finally, so it's looking all good for the indomitable Audi so far. Joshua Luke and Boniface currently 5th and 6th. And in the respective little battle there is Jay currently P3. In the GTE battle
there goes up a side,
bit of contact down the straight there with Friday. There was contact down the straight there, and this is getting very close there. And look at the Ford, it's got a massive, massive amount of speed so far then. So if he's done, he may have turned the engine up a little bit there. Jake's going to try and come back into the chicane. Let's see if he's close enough to make a pop. No, he's not, a little bit too far back. And the leaders only just sitting ahead of these groups.
Yeah, that was really close. It looked like they got stuck together a bit on the straight. Bit of wheel banging there. You can do that with these cars, but not too much. And VPR is dropping back a bit. 2 seconds is not a gap.
Yeah, starting to struggle there. Scott also struggling as well. So what is happening to Scott? He's not having the best of race so far. He's starting to drop back. The rest he's not having the best race. He currently lies himself in P5, which is incredible pace for him. And
LMP cars are almost only one straight behind the GTE cars, so that'll throw a spanner in the works as well. Lap cars.
Friday again trying to make a move, but a little bit too far back again, down towards the Indianapolis. Of course, named after Indianapolis as well, I'd imagine. I don't exactly know the origins of the corner, but I'm only imagining that is the reason why. Here he comes, very close, a little bit lock up there, still just banging through the corner okay. Friday, all he has to do is feel good on this Sunday, and it'll be all nice and dry. Sitting behind the Ford GT as well. Stunning little car against the Corvette. Getting a bit late, of course. Expect a day-night transition as well. Rain expected, believe in around about 8, maybe a bit more laps. Give maybe another 12 potentially. So rain's on the way. Doesn't look like it's going to be raining anytime soon though. But we know what the weather can do around this circuit. Up front though, it is Zallen behind again of Mantu, so made that mistake and that's really cost him. Jake's still battling with Friday, and this is going to go on for a while, I'd imagine. It's very close back.
Oh, not break the camera. Yeah, he's really close. He they're also almost bumper to bumper there.
Yep, something very American as well. These two American cars doing what American cars do best, go very close together around a circuit. Dirty air is definitely not helping these guys a lot here.
Oh, but he is getting closer a bit. But on the straight, of course, VSR pulls away. Friday looks like using a bit of less road than VSR. Yeah. But during the corners, Friday just catches up so much. Look at this.
Yeah, definitely looks like he's running a little bit more downforce for the corners, and that's going to be the thing, really. It's downforce versus no downforce for the straight line speed. For the corners you want. Top two, by the way, still running very close together between Ethan and so Race-A-Lot in the battle there for GTE, still close together. Those guys are actually only just about 2 or 3 seconds between each other as well. Friday, though, has a nice old run down the straight, and I think this time he's a bit closer this time to try and make a pop down the inside. Let's see. Look again, though. The Ford starts to pull away again down the straight, so we just can't get close enough. He's going to have to do him in the corner.
It just looks like.
Let's see. Down to the chicane. Brakes
very
late. Very, very late.
Trying it.
Oh, contact!
Contact!
And there'll be a big argument about that one. And surely he'll have to give the position back. Skull's going to come through as well. Surely he has to give the position back there.
That was a really, really dirty move, it looked like. He was trying it from really, really far. Of course, VSR holding the line. And now it's getting under pressure from Skull, and he will drop 2 places if he's not careful.
Yep,
Skull lights ablaze behind the VSR.
Let's see. Lights are definitely much ablaze as the sun starts to set around this legendary circuit there. And I have to say, very naughty stuff from Friday there.
And here come the LMP cars through the GTE field.
Yeah, this is
but also Skull behind VSR.
This is going to be an opportunity for them. Yeah, they're going to catch these guys around Arnaud's, I'd imagine. Skull close enough. Is he close enough to make a dive? I think actually the Ford's trying to have a dive as well. Very late on the brakes, by the way, for Friday. Is he going to get through the corner? Just about as Skull. Oh, contact! Oh, huge crash there. Skull punted round. Jake in the wall. And what's up for the LMP cars coming through the field? Don't park it there. Here comes the LMPs coming through. Oh, contact, and there's a pile up nearly. And that there is a slam dunk. You could not do that there. How lucky was Duke Mills there from being wiped out of the race.
What happened was, it looked like VSR lost the rear, and Scald.
Friday lost the rear. VSR lost the rear to slide out to avoid him, and Scald was just the unlucky passenger in a situation where, fortunately, he was put in there. But that's a big damage to Scald.
Oh, that's big damage. Look at this.
Yeah, big damage.
That's big damage.
As the LMP one flies through the corner, and I have to say, very lucky that VSR was not involved in a bigger crash than he wanted to be. David Ben, meanwhile, coming up to that is, I believe, Matt, comes through. The speed difference between these guys, incredible.
LMC still with a lot of damage at the front, but look at how lonely these guys are already. Boniface is all the way on his own.
Indeed, apologise. Headphone users, by the way, for that. As well.
Oh, there's a car off.
Yeah, car off.
It's who is that? It's one of the LMP cars.
How to say?
Who is it?
Boniface.
It was Boniface, I think.
Yeah, Boniface.
I think it was Boniface.
Gone off the road. He's dropped a long way back now. So LMP George.
This will be dangerous with the GTE cars.
Currently P3 coming through.
This will be a bit risky.
Yeah, that's Skull coming in the pit, and I believe that's there. Yes, it is. Driving 63, and he comes. First of pit stops now, and that is a real shame for him. He was running so well, and he's going to be gutted about that one. David Ben flies through the field there, quite easily stopped that. There's going to be a big argument about that one there for VSR. Very dangerous way to pull back across the circuit there. Luckily that no one was involved in the secondary impact there, luckily. Isn't it, Vectro?
Yeah, it was it was really, really close. It was, yeah, it was, I just got no words for it actually. It just, it looked like a racing incident to me at first, but the way he got back on track again was a bit risky. Yeah,
a little bit dangerous, and I believe the stewards may have to have a little look into that later on. 1 hour and 57 minutes to go in this race, currently 30 minutes into it, and so far we've seen a fair amount of drama.
Even on the formation lap before the race even started again.
Indeed, a little bit of contact, a little bit of struggles, and that's really all it took to cause a bit of drama. 007 meanwhile stuck behind Duke Mills there, and those two are going to be battling throughout the late evening. The background there is VSR Jake. He's going with the damage.
He's not pitted. Also, VP's got a penalty. We've totally missed that, but he's also gained the penalty.
2 seconds.
Let's see
VSR 2
seconds. Oh, 4 seconds for Ethan. And 2 for Sir Razelot, so... And also LMC's got 2.
Yep, and Jake's also got 2 as well.
You see the gap is now 1.6 seconds up front. This is far from over.
Yep, this is only the beginning of what could be a great forward and backward battle. Duke Mills currently P4 ahead of 007, but up front in that group it's Zalem and Mantu currently leading. There is Mantu, there is Zalem P2, and Friday, a very fortunate P3 I'd have to say. He was very lucky he wasn't involved in that crash.
He's really lucky. He was the first to lose the rear, and maybe he unsettled.
He unsettled PS4, which caused a chain reaction, didn't it, Vector? And that chain reaction, of course, that corner is easy to make a mistake. And we've seen contact through there before with cars losing rear ends there. And unfortunately, no different here today. And that is one of the LMP1 cars. I must be Boniface coming to lap these guys right now. And that's going to be a bit
Boniface
of
or Joshua, I think.
Yeah, must be Boniface there into lap them.
It's not.
That's it is just really you're right then. Passing them, that really just show how far the Audis are ahead of this group. And I have to say, it's going to be a bit awkward for Boniface here. That's not the ideal place to want to lap cars here towards the Porsche curbs. And VSR has lost his headlight, by the way, so he may have to come in for a forced stop because he's lost the headlights.
But let's see. Of course, Boniface will encounter him during the Porsche curve. So, how will this pan out?
Should get him just on the exit here. A bit awkward. We'll have to lift off there. Just follow him through. Let him through on the inside.
That's him through. Oh, we cut the corner. It might be a penalty.
Yeah, but he still gets away with it just about. So pushing the limits, and the limits are pushing him as well.
The sun is setting. Sun is setting. Oh, there's a car off. It's is it VCR? No, it's not. It's 007 off.
Yeah, 007 dropped the rear, pulls right out in front there. Avares Liquor, and I think he's going to come and he's got damage. I'm not sure he's allowed to do that, but I'll let it roll right now and see what the outcome of that is. So looks like he's yeah, he's hit the front end, wiped the car around and hit the rear. So he's gone up in a big way there, and now that is interesting. Looks like he's
going again.
Anti-stall or something. That a bit of an issue there. Or maybe he was just setting his. Maybe he was setting his pit stop. Maybe he wasn't expecting a. Of course, he definitely wasn't expecting to have damage. So maybe he didn't set his pit strategy. Skolda, fortunately, still has the bodywork damage, but at least he might come ahead of this little training car. So he's not out of this race yet. So anything can still happen, and it usually does here. We've seen a little drama here up front. 1.7 seconds the gap between the top two.
Like I was about to say, the sun is starting to set while we were
interrupted by an accident.
Rudely interrupted by a terrible incident of 007. It just looked like, have you seen the Marcus Ericsson crash? It was just such an acute angle in which he's lost the rear.
Yeah. Very.
Just, he went completely sideways all of a sudden.
Yeah. Didn't exactly know how to do that, of course. Luckily, though, like this driver, Marcus Ericsson is okay as well, and I can't remember where he finished. I think P16 as well. Do get your reaction to the Italian Grand Prix down in the chat, of course. If you have watched it, alright, no, I won't spoil it for you, but imagine you should have seen it at least by now. Very interesting race, wasn't it, without spoiling it?
Interesting tactics, yes, interesting tactics.
And in Championship, it's going to be a bit more interesting now where it's going to go. So race a lot low, currently doing a good job. P2 a bit wide there, and that won't help him at all. Duke Mills and VSR Jake there, they are. And they're close together there. There is RS Liquor, and behind them is Matthew as well.
It's a shame the broadcast feature does not say when there's actually action between lapped cars. Because that would be interesting to see. You just have to be lucky to catch. Oh no, look at the sun. but you have to be just lucky to catch it, to get all the action and information. So I hope I can catch all the action in terms of getting lapped and stuff, because those things we will see a lot during this race.
Yep.
And it just looks like the field is falling apart a bit.
Yep, it's going to be about a lap every, give or take, about 30 minutes. So expect these guys to be lapped about 3 or 4 times, maybe a bit more. And we'll see what happens, of course. But Manchu currently leads the GTE battle, and he's got a 3.3 second gap to P2. So all he has to do is keep the car doing what he's doing, and he's looking good. These guys getting lapped by one of the LMP cars. That is the Porsche. That must be with Joshua Luke coming through up the inside into the Porsche chicanes. Boniface, actually.
Boniface. You were close.
Close, but yet so far.
Oh, there's a car stranded on the track.
That's Joshua Luke.
Who is
out
it?
of the race.
It's Joshua Luke. It's disconnected.
And that is a shame for
And
Joshua
there comes
Luke.
the rain. I saw drops of rain.
Yeah, it's raining.
It's dry over here.
It's raining. It's starting to rain.
It's really, really wet at the here. It's really wet down at the start-finish line.
Yep, starting to see
On the north side, it's
water
a
on the
little bit dry.
cameras.
Yep, there we go. Joshua Luke disconnecting from the race. He was stuck on the track, so everyone was able to avoid him, but oof, really unfortunate for him. And
yeah.
VP is catching Ethan here. They're coming to a left car, getting a slipstream.
Yeah,
And both get through correctly, hopefully.
Yeah, Joshua Luke,
RS,
understandably furious in the chat, by the way, and having disconnected. I suffered a few disconnects earlier on as well, actually, now, so it must be a bit of an issue with the server, because my internet normally strong enough not to disconnect, but oh, he's gone straight on as the Ford.
He's got off.
Yep, he's gone off into the wall. Gone on the puddle there, so
Again.
it is really chucking it down. And this is
But look at
absolutely
VP.
incredible.
He is catching so quickly. 5/10 is not a gap.
This could get a bit interesting between these guys as the rain starts to fall.
Just when the sun starts to set, the rain is beginning to fall, so it couldn't have been a better timing. For us though, but for the race it's really tricky.
Yeah, but imagine they'll have to come in. The LMP1 cars can drive out a little longer in the wet than you imagine. They're almost four-wheel drive in these conditions, of course. The Audi is planted in any
the rear
condition.
tires also hang on so long compared to the front tires.
In comes Race Lot, he's going for the undercut.
I think it's too early. I think it's too early for wet tires. It's way too early.
Well, has Ethan done a masterful strategy, or has he blundered it? It looks like it's chucking it down. No spray getting kicked up here.
Maybe it's a risk. If it starts to chuck it down halfway to the lap, Ethan is going to be the one to lose. But he said to us, around lap 10, lap 11, that's when the rain is going to fall. So, let's see. VP, what is he going to do? Refuel. I think it's way too early for the wet tires. I think it's on the wet. We cannot see, unfortunately, but I'm pretty sure he's on the wet. But it's way too early.
Indeed, of course. Like Joshua Luke, has to be gutting. He did a 24-hour race just a couple of weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Did quite well. And Team AOR, fortunately low. In 2.4 hours, he's unfortunately disconnected, of course. And it is a real shame to see VPR out on circuit, so racing lot, so I say, actually. And let's see what he can do in this race now. He's got a long way to go, and I don't know if it's too early or not. It looked very damp. It's hard to say if he's on the wet tyres now. Yes, they are wet, if I'm not mistaken. I can see the lining of them. They are wet.
Well, the lining doesn't change on this game. That's the point.
Yeah. Let's see, though. It's hard to see.
Oh, hello, Cat. Co-commentary from my cat.
Yeah, we
well,
apologise
either way.
for Vector's Cat. He's decided to do his annual visit to the commentary box. And everyone loves Vector's Cat. Say hello to Vector's Cat in the chat if you're watching. He might read the comments, maybe. Ethan still leaves.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt he'll read the comments. It might do.
But either way, more importantly than my cat, it started to rain heavier.
Yeah, it is coming down heavier. He's a little bit on the grass there, but I think he's actually going to get away with this. He's going to come down on the fuel just to around about a month's fuel as you want. On board we go. And you can just see how dark it really is on this circuit. It's because it's raining as well. This is going to be even more tricky. The puddles will form. And I've done a lot of racing on this circuit. And when the rain comes down, it doesn't come down in a little bit of rain. It'll rain very hard and very quickly now, and expect those puddles to form before it stops to rain.
But currently it's not wet enough for the wet tires.
Not seeing any spray.
All the only things Racelot can do is hope.
Goes LMC George off. He locked up there, locked the rears up, and it may be raining a bit heavier down that area of the circuit. The gap between so Racelot and Ethan, 54 seconds. How long's a pit stop in this? It's about 50 seconds. It is really chucking it down on the back of the circuit.
He's losing time though. When he came out of the pit, it was 51.
Yeah, so Ethan's
what is Ethan going to do here? He's going to come in.
Yeah, he's
and also one of the GTE cars.
Yep,
it's called indeed.
Yep, so these two pitting together.
Interesting tactics maybe.
Yep, and Ethan gets the car slowed down. Skull will get the car slowed down.
He's got damage. I think he's paying for damage.
Just the visual damage from earlier on he's still got. Unfortunately doesn't reset itself. Only 2 tyres of course on each of the cars. Remember, the Audi has only 50 litres of fuel course, being a diesel engine. So it'll take a little less time to fill the car up, but the fuel takes longer than the tyres, and so racing off the road there on the exit of the Porsche curbs down into karting. And you might as well have a kart right now, and it might drive a bit better than some of these cars. Very, very sideways indeed.
Well, either way, I think Ethan is coming out of it. Yeah, he's won heaps of time to VP. Yeah. Look at the lights. In the middle of the night, LMC also in.
Yeah. 4 litres of fuel. No exception there. You have to come in. 1 hour and 40 minutes to go in this race, of course. Time 8:50 UK time, or 9:50 if you're living in the old Netherlands or Central European time at least. As the night starts to settle over the circuit of the South, 2.4 hours of Le Mans. Your current order: David Ben leads Ethan, and VP Racing is currently in 3rd. LMC George currently there in P5. He's stuck behind Boniface. Ants comes out on cue as well. You can just see the rain there. Bit of a shot, by the way, I have to say, of the Audi. The overhead camera doing its job. Manitou there, sitting currently in P1 of the GTE class. Still just only one been a bit seconds ahead of Zatlin. So these two still close together after just under an hour of racing. Freddie, a further 17 seconds back.
The VP has lost 20 seconds to Ethan. 20 whole seconds.
Yeah, but he's really dropped a lot more time than imagine. I think he may have gone off when we weren't looking actually. But he's dropped. He was about 10 seconds. So he's dropped another almost 10 seconds. So he's mad to have gone off somewhere. Unless Ethan, who seems to be so much more confident in the rain, he's done a practice and look at the rain chucking it down here at the back of the circuit.
He wasn't this far behind, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so he's lost time, but where he's lost time is a different matter. Incredible stuff. And let's see what he can do.
It looks like.
Yeah,
you can really see the water build up on the nose of the car.
It chucks it down here, but the drivers, all they have to do is just be careful now. And there is VSR Jake and RS Liquor still together. And in actually comes Jake, so he's bailed out there, and that'll be for damage, I imagine, so expect he'll be in for a little while.
There was still damage from the previous time, so I don't think he will have damage anymore. Duke's also in. Time for wet tires.
Yep, time for wet tires. Just a little bit early, then he gets into his pit box. VSR Jake comes in as well. Nobody will commend his light. Mantulo currently ahead of Zalen, and that is the battle for the lead of the GTE class.
David Ben is currently leading, but he won't be for long.
Yeah.
Because he will pit, and Ethan will retake the lead.
He's in as well.
Pit again.
He's in as well. That is crucial. What has happened there for your race leader? He's had an issue. Has the tyres not changed? I think the tyre must have not changed. He must have a tyre issue.
He was talking about an interesting tactic with the tyres. It must have not worked.
And Sir Racelot will lead the race, but he's only got 30 litres of fuel in, so he's underfueled the car. But Ethan has an issue, or potentially an issue here.
Possibly, we were allowed to say it. He said it before. He had the tactic of only changing the front tyres, so it might be that only the front tyres have changed into wets and the rears have stayed dry.
Yeah.
That's only speculation. David Ben also in, but he was in again, so that has lost him into time as well. But of course, 1 hour 40 minutes to go. Anything can still happen. One small mistake and everything is still open.
So Racelot,
but that's a big blunder if it's going to cost him the win.
Well, now the question is, has Ethan got the pace to catch up 20 seconds? I think he does.
Possibly.
That's going to be a
You've
challenge.
got to give it him a salto.
Well, he's currently now opened the gap there, so that really...
penalties. Ethan has got 5. Racelot's got 4 now. So it's evened out a bit.
Yep.
Let's see. 007 in again. Also losing a light, so he's having an absolute horrible time.
Yeah, not the best.
So it's stopped,
ahead,
by the way, because he is 20 seconds behind VSR and 3.5 minutes in front of 007. Also Matthew quite lonely, but look at the rain. And look at how dark it's going to be.
Indeed. Now, I've just received some news. Not the moon, by the way. I've just received some news, by the way, on the F1. Romain Grosjean has just been disqualified from the Italian Grand Prix. Meaning, Sergei Sorokin just scored his first point in F1. So congratulations to Sergei Sorokin and Williams for scoring the point. And, naughty Grosjean.
Does it say a reason?
Breach of technical regulation.
Ah.
Whatever that means, speculation you can begin down in the chat. Zalen comes in the pit lane, and that is from the P2 and up front. Manitou stayed that, of course, so Zalen now trying to make a audacious strategy, potentially victory?
Possibly, yeah. That's a good thing about this race. So much different tactics, and yeah, it's really interesting to see. I'm just googling now for the actual reason, because I'm pretty curious now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Who's it going to be, though, up front? Is it going to be Ethan's coming out on top? Is it going to be Racelot? Well, so far, Racelot is racing away from Ethan, actually. 22 seconds now, because Ethan had to make another pit stop. But he is pulling away. David Ben currently behind Boniface, and that's the battle there for P3. So Boniface puts himself in a good position. Well, now he doesn't anymore, because he goes straight off of the road. And, well, I have to say, I may have just cursed that one there. And I think he's on the dry tyres.
It's gonna be a really late pit stop.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's 4 GTE cars coming in now, including Zelen, RSL,
Zalen?
and Matthew as well.
Zalen in again? Here he is. Zalen just pitted a minute ago.
Maybe also trouble with the tires.
Yeah, trouble with the tyres, but he just pitted. He pitted again. So something has gone terribly wrong there, because now look at the gap. Manitou's got a 1 minute and 20-second lead. So something has gone catastrophically wrong there for Zalen's pit crew. Maybe they put the wrong tyre on the wrong car. Who knows what the issue is. We'll have to send our pit lane reporter, who unfortunately isn't here down there. So if we can find him again, that'd be good. If we can find Soup, potentially. Let's see if we can find Soup later on. But Matthew, currently in the pit lane P5 so far in the GTE field. Let's see what he can do in all of that.
Yeah, either way, VP is leading overall. 21 seconds behind is Thomas Even. He just made a mistake because the gap is risen from 21.0 to 22. He's just losing time.
He's raising and lowering, so considering attacks where they're using their AOR, that's even flashing his lights there, must be to one of the GTE cars. Yes, it is.
He stays to the left. Even is gonna go to the right then? Yes.
Yep, that might be Fridays is passing that. I'd say, of course, quite a few of them running the same livery. In comes
LMC in again as well.
Yep, so
also for the second time.
Things going on here with the tyres potentially. Are they just going off really quickly potentially? I just honestly don't know what's going on with the tyres here, or if they're making mistakes or something's going wrong. It's not for fuel. Well, it's for a little bit of fuel, but I'm just lost for words. 1 minute, 1.5 hour to go. Not 1.5 minutes to go. 1.5 hours to go here. Boniface currently lies himself P4 now in this group because of the misfortunes and
look
how
at the
heavy
rain.
It's raining. This is going to be some tricky conditions here for these drivers. It's night time as well, veteran. That's going to be even harder than it would be if it was raining in the dry, because you can't see the puddles at all now, can you, really?
Yeah, if the puddles are going to form, we might see a lot of people getting caught out by the puddles.
We'll only have to go 1.5 more hours to go until we find who's winning this race, and the gap between P2 and 1 in GTE is now a massive margin. I'm talking about the battle.
Man to win.
In he comes for his first pit stop now of
He's
the
got
race.
1 minute to Sellen.
Yeah, of course, Alan pitted twice, so Manitou only has to do is take a little short stop there, driving the Corvette, the number 3, and he comes, stops the car on his marks, and the mechanics go away and put the tyres on, and I have to say, it's looking very comfortable for him to come out ahead of Zalin right now. Zalin doing a good job, though, to be currently P2 in this battle.
RS made a mistake, I think, because VSR's caught right up. And look at how damp the track is now, and the spray is coming from the tires, so now we are really in for some really heavy rain. And look at the clouds! I think a really big storm is hanging above the circuit.
Yeah, I don't know how heavy it's going to get if there's a thunderstorm potentially brewing. It's definitely hurling down here. Look how heavy it is there on board with VSR Jake there. He's just behind RS Licker. He goes
I think he's still on the slicks.
There he is. He's going off.
He must be.
Just getting on. I think actually off goes Jake in the background a little bit. Now we're all aquaplaning here. Wide they go, and this is getting very tricky now.
He's got to watch out to the Porsche curves, because if he really is on the slicks, he's not going to be able to carry a lot of speed.
Now, any Finn's driving, I'm not too certain if any Finn's driving. I can't really say, to be honest, I'm afraid. Sorry there for the in the chat there. If I knew if any Finn was driving, I would let you know. Fortunately, I do not. If any Finnish people are in this race, I'm not too certain.
Any Finnish people? I'm not sure. No.
I'm not sure.
There's a Hungarian driver, Selen, but
yeah. I didn't see.
Other than that, a lot of British drivers.
Boniface in.
Boniface is in, and RSL's also staying out, so it looks like he's on the wet tyres.
It's difficult. Well, Boniface has come in for fuel because he's got 2.2 litres of fuel. If it wasn't for fuel, I'd be concerned. There we go. There's a tank up there. Carson comes the battle there between VSR Jake and RS Licker. Matthew currently ahead of Scald only by 1 second. So
damage.
Coming back through.
The rear.
That damage, of course, the bodywork damage. Of course, nothing they can do about that. Bit of gaffer tape might work, but I don't think gaffer tape's a thing in this game. They should add it. Project Cars, maybe. And thank you for the comment as well. I do like doing such a good job. I like it as well. I think we're doing a good job. Do you think we're doing a good job, Vectro?
I think we're doing an amazing job. so far.
Yeah, so far the race is going well. Currently, just an hour into the race, I believe just now, just under an hour to go. Well, just over an hour gone. Hour and a half to go. And Ethan is currently leading P1. PSR Jake still behind RS as well. And these guys are closing up as well to another car, I believe. Who is ahead of RS? It must be
Dukes.
Dukes. Yes, so these guys all catching up to Dukes. About a rate of knots, by the way. Looking at the lap times. A little bit hard to say on that. Oh, there's Matthew.
Oh, Matthew made a mistake and Scott goes through.
Gold coming through, and also couldn't very much there. And that must be aquaplaning. Look at the puddles on the outside of the circuit here. It is chucking it down, but Matthew's going to come back here. He'll have the slipstream, he'll have the tow. And let's see, is he going to go to the left, or is he going to go to the right? He's a little bit too far back to do anything there. But, or he's a little bit deceiving in the way, of course, the gap between the cars. It's about a second, just I'd say about 4 tenths, actually, between them.
We're talking about the wet, but the darkness is even worse. And look at the lights reflecting from the floor.
Oh, Scott's made a mistake.
Oh, Scott off as well.
Here's the puddles. Now side by side goes the Corvettes in the rain, and let's see if these guys don't aquaplane. That'll be good. Remember, down here's the trickiest area of the circuit because it's so easy to spin. Right down here. Let's see, through they come. Is he going to go for the inside again? Skull, that's going to be brave. Can he get the car stopped? Is he going to get the car stopped there? I think just about. And I think a bit of thunder just rolled over the circuit there, Vector. I think there's a thunderstorm coming in as well.
A thunder, yeah, look at the weather. These are torrential conditions. Oh, VSR and RS are getting really close to each other.
Side by
side.
Oh, he's gone through RS through, I think, there. Or is he still ahead? I don't know wherever they were. Wherever they are, they're having a fantastic battle here for 5th position so far in this race. Skull now ahead of Matthew. These guys, I believe, just got
coming up to 007, I think. No, they're not. But someone else is getting lapped. Oh, he's off.
Just caught that. Just caught that. I believe it might have been one of the LMP guys coming actually through and passing them actually.
Oh yeah, it's a red one, of course, yeah.
Quite a few
the blue one means...
Never
mind. Anyway, VSR is really close to RS.
Yeah, 4 tenths the gap, and let's see how that closes down. 1 hour and 28 minutes to go here in the rain. Definitely doesn't look like it's easing off anytime soon.
I think it's only getting worse. This is only the beginning.
Indeed. And it is...
full goes A.
Ethan coming through it. Or no, it must be VP maybe coming through actually. It's not.
None
so
of them.
It must be LMC. Yes, it is. And not the ideal position to come through in that car's here into the chicanes. But he's got through nonetheless. Beautiful shot there. But everything doesn't look as wet down here at the back of the circuit until we go on board with them. In which case you can see just a wall of water here. You can't really. So it's not raining heavily here. But when they get down
track
towards...
is dry here. Look at how dry the track is.
So the life of a 3.0 coming into a hand here. But when they come down the Mulsanne...
Oh, he's lost it.
How has he caught
But
that?
he kept it.
How can you catch that? VSR check. Oh, but now he has it. Well, that'll have done. Now, there we go. Well, there we go. Well, he hasn't caught it in the end.
That was different tire spin.
Strikes again, eh, Vectro? Every time.
I don't know if that's commentator's curse, but we were talking about the previous spin, but of course, next spin is a whole different story. But it just shows how wet it actually is. It looks really dry. And maybe that caught him out as well.
Yeah. Deceiving the weather.
They probably get a transition. They probably get a transition from dry looking to wet looking because here on the straight, it looks like it's absolutely soaking with weather.
Yeah. Soaking wet.
Boniface in again.
Yeah. Well,
oh, that's damage.
Yeah, he's hit that wall heavily. He has hit that wall heavily. Look at it crabbing. That is... So he's gone off that. I can only imagine around the Porsche curbs. In the Porsche. Hard to tell where he's gone off, but That's going to be in for a while. Luckily low. He's only P6 and actually he's P5 actually, Bodgin, because we've lost Joshua Luke for a decent connection. And that is a shame to see. The driver's disconnect, of course. The driver who did so good in the 24-hour race a few weeks ago. Disconnect from the 2.4 hours of the morning, of course. And that is a real shame to see drivers disconnecting, of course. We do believe it. It may just be due to a connection on the game, because I was disconnected quite a lot earlier on, I noticed. And hopefully I haven't just cursed that. Fingers crossed. Skull flattering his lights there to VSRJ, saying, "Move over," he says. "I'm going for 6th." And that's what he's going to try to do now. And these two crash into each other, by the way. Look how heavy it's raining. That, I think it's a bit worse on our screen than it probably is in the actual race, because of all the water. But it is just terrifying. He's having a look to the inside. Has he go alongside? I think he has got past.
Oh yes, he's got through.
A bit wide and gets through
well,
there.
no, a bit wide.
Just I think that's a bit too wide. I think that's a little bit wide there. Just a little bit wide. A little bit deep into the corner. And he's lost that position again. Bit too optimistic, you think, there, Battery?
Yes, of course, he went offline. That's where it's most wet, and then it's really easy to lock up.
Yeah, as soon as you
and I think that's
up,
just what he did.
As soon as you lock up in the wet, Battery, it's just straight on. You just can't really get the car to stop, can you? Oh dear.
No, you really can't.
That's on the grass for Matthew. What's happened to him to do that? Looks like he's a little bit lack of concentration potentially there down the straight. A little bit going on the grass, and Skull now has to just close back up to VSR Jake again and try and retake him. Very equal fuel, 66 against 60. These guys crashing each other a couple of laps ago as well in the wet. Well, actually, this is before the wet. Actually, in the dry. When they spun there is Friday, coming to get lapped there by one of the LMC cars, and
quite
that
close.
Might be LMC again, I believe, probably. Yes,
LMC,
it is.
yes.
This is the one who's coming through. Runs a bit deep into the first corner. You can really just see how wet it is now, actually, up here. You can see the water on the circuit, and that it's going to cause puddles around here, if I remember correctly. Quite a big puddle normally forms down there. We unfortunately don't see it on the telemetry, but I think that's what he just hit there. He's gone straight off the circuit, actually. I think that was a puddle he hit.
Yeah, there's a really big puddle on the inside of the corner normally.
Yeah, normally quite a big one down at Rouge as well, around this area as well. So keep updated if you see a car veering off the side of the road very dramatically. We know why. That's him coming to that Zalon actually. So race a lot, and you can just see how wet it now is down the main straight. 25 seconds between first and second, and even starting to drop time a little bit now. That's not the best place to curve through, and that is might
RS?
be yeah, RS getting lapped there. A little bit hard to say which way it was going, and that is what just the rain can do, really. You can't see half the time where you're going, and these guys are getting caught by RS. He just goes wide, actually. They're in Scold, looking ominous in the background, to say the least.
They've met each other earlier on this race.
Yeah, they met each other in the wall. Hopefully they don't meet each other again in the wall, and I think Jay gets a terrible exit this time, and Scold already pulling alongside in the wet. And I've seen this before, where two cars go side by side down the straight in the wet, and last time I saw this it didn't go well. Hopefully no puddles get involved this time around. And look at the Ford, it's still got the straight line speed, but the Corvette's not going up down the straight, and on the brakes, Skull's gone far too deep there. Has he got the car turned in? Yes, he has. And Skull, laid on the brakes as ever, proving why he's so good in these conditions sometimes, and really just trumps poor old VSR Jake, and he can't really do a lot about that, can he?
No, he can't. It just looked like he braked really early compared to Scott.
No, he's on the inside, of course, so just potentially just a puddle maybe was there. Like I said, there's a lot of puddles down the Mulsanne. It's really, really actually, yeah. Chuka struggling. RS, I think, half spun as well. In the background, those are that's Skull coming through. And he made a bit of a mistake as well. So they're all struggling in these conditions. as the rain continues
Yeah,
to fall
rightfully
here
so.
as
I mean,
a little bit hours to go. And that is one of the LMP1 cars coming through, and that's going to be a bit interesting there. That's Scold. Is it a little bit close to start off here, down to the corner? That up the inside he goes. I'm not sure if that's LMC George passing them there or not. Oh, Skull's gone off! He's going off! He's hit the part of the aquaplanes off there again! He's done that once, he's done that twice now. He's hit the puddle and straight off he goes. And he's so difficult there. So difficult. I know what he's on about because as well in these conditions, because I remember, Vetch, I think you can remember as well, a massive puddle usually forms down to that area of the circuit, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does. And you really gotta memorize all the puddles. Especially when it's so dark, you cannot see them. LMC in. Oh, that's big damage.
That is a huge impact there. And he has written that car off.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate that you can't see when something happens. So you really have to just hope you can catch it when something happens. Well, yeah, that's... So,
he's actually gone off rather late there on the circuit again, because he was set a really fast last sector time, if I remember. There's Friday, and behind him there might be the leader actually coming up behind him.
On the leader?
Yeah, VP. There it is. Race a lot up the inside. So race a lot, and Sir Pass a lot he comes, and behind him will be Ethan, 27 seconds behind now. The gap looks like it's opening up, and he's off goes Ethan! He's spun it into karting. And has he hit the wall? I'm not too certain if he's hit the wall or not. He's not coming in. He's got very fortunate if he hasn't.
That's what happens. You've got to be lucky to catch it when something happens, and we just got the end of that, but it looks like a really interesting spin there.
Very fortunate if he has spun. David Ben not too far behind either. He's just 1 minute behind, and then LMC, and then Boniface currently last, of course, in the top group. Turning into a little interesting race so far. With strategy, the rain falling very hard in the middle of the night.
Still, almost 1.5 hours to go.
Yep, I'm getting that. And the race is still got a question marks over his head. Who's going to be winning what? That is the question.
Let's see about actually the penalties. Still 4 and 5 seconds for Sir Racelot and Ethan. 20 seconds from Matthew. So, actually, is he going to finish in front of W7? Yes, he will.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting though. Scold just ahead and there around the outside. That's a little not the best place to get a lap there, I have to say, is it?
No, it's really tricky place there, indeed. And here comes Scald on VSR.
Yep, Scold's coming back, and this time he's alongside. This time he starts to pull ahead. But again, that Ford is closing back up again, and he's still got the grip. And the Ford has got a massive amount of pace. But remember, we'll have to brake early here because of the puddles on the inside. Scald will go around the outside here. Easy enough does. He's done that once, he's done that twice. Now he's done it 3 times now in a row on VSR Jake. And this time maybe he can just keep the car going in a straight line down into the Mulsanne kink. And that'll be all good and dandy for him because he pulls away massively otherwise. About 5 seconds.
That's a big deja vu.
Yep, RS just ahead as well. And he's closing
6 seconds.
What's up? So RS has to keep an eye out, but here comes VSR again. And that is Ethan coming to lap these guys, I believe. No, it's not.
It's David Ben.
Oh, he's got through, and that's going to help him a little bit. Gets past Scold on the exit. And let's have a look at Scold as well. Let's see if he's going to make the corner again. That's the crucial question.
He's been really struggling in this corner for quite a while. Let's see on board.
Still on board with him there. 5th gear.
Hopefully he's learned from his mistakes. Into 1st gear, indeed. He takes it a lot more careful.
He just can't get the car stopped. You can see the puddle. You can see how he's struggling on the puddles there, and you can see, especially there on Scott, you can see how he's a controller user as compared to VSR Jake, who's a lot more gentle. Scold on board, a lot more aggressive. In comes Sir Racelot, your race leader, in the pits. leader in then from first position.
Practically
David Ben.
make a free pit stop to Ethan, I think.
Yeah. Let's have a little look at him actually if we can. Here he is. That leads the fuel.
I think it was for fuel. Possibly for fuel.
Maybe. Joshua Lucas, very angry in the chat.
Oh! They forgot the tires! On my screen at least, they forgot the tires in the front car. So, on the front, so he just ran away without tires on my screen. That's really interesting.
That'd be interesting if they just didn't put the
They
tires
just
on.
removed his tires just before he wanted to race. But Ethan is now
He's
in
ahead,
first again.
But as low fuel. So Racelot's going slowly. I think he's got an issue.
Oh, he is.
He's got an issue.
Why is he going slowly? What's happened?
Have they put dries on? Have they put dries on? I think.
Oh,
I
no.
think you're right, Vector. I think they have forgotten the tyres. I think they put the wrong
I think
tyres
they have
on.
forgotten the tires.
He's got an issue here.
What's happened?
Well, I'd be goddamned. Wrong tyres, I believe. He's got no grip. He's been put on the dry tyres. Look here through the corner. He's got no throttle. Look at the understeer. Either he's missed a tyre. They haven't put one of the tyres on, or something. Because look, he's got no throttle. He's got no power. Look at him sliding here. That is absolutely disastrous. I've never seen that in my life. They put the wrong tyres on. In the crawl, it's very possible. Ethan leads again.
Unbelievable. That's gonna cost him the race.
MC George in.
MC in again, so really struggling.
Again, I think. Duke's though, in front of RS and behind them Skull, 4 seconds, catching up a little bit. But that is.
But they have.
I've never
they've
seen
really
that
made a
in my
mistake.
life.
It was a really glitchy pit on my end, and oh, that's really tough to see.
Cruel game. David Ben's going to come through and get P2, by the way, on this queue. There he is. Good to see David Ben, and David and Ethan are both going to come in a moment here. Flashing the lights, moves over, does do so, and my screen he's floating actually, currently racing up.
I think it was a really glitchy pit stop, possibly.
Yeah, I think the game definitely has been a bit cruel. He's definitely floating on my screen there. He's definitely not touching the road. Yeah, he's definitely floating a bit there. Bit interesting. Meanwhile, Ethan's currently got 42
VPR
seconds.
just added a player to one of your groups. Oh, I just got a message, I think. Oh, he's going again. It looks like he's going again.
No, he's not. No, he's definitely not. He's got no throttle.
An AI driver took over. That's the issue. An AI driver took over. He just sent me a message of it.
Ah. So the AI's taken
that's
over.
why
And
he's over.
maybe that has been that's put himself on the dry tyres as well. That is absolutely
an
amazing.
An AI driver has taken over. He cannot drive anymore.
Well, it should come in. Potentially, it'll give him control again. So it's glitched out, and that is cruel. Cruel. Very much cruel. The race leader has been robbed by the game, and surely that is the cruelest way to be robbed of a race.
This is so hard. It's just a game-breaking glitch. Even in now, he's noticed something is wrong. Is he gonna face the same issue?
Let's hope not, but that is amazing.
He just said there is a way to get control back, so possibly when he enters the pits.
Yeah, he'll have to request the AI to make a pit stop, but look how slowly
Anyway,
it's going.
His race has been ruined by the AI.
Yeah, surely something has to be done about that. Well, Ethan's got his lead back at least, and that's a good thing to see. Up front there's Skull, right over the right up the back of Duke Mills there. Let's see, gets a good exit. Let's see, blast it alongside him in the slipstream. He goes of the other Corvette. Let's see, which way is he going to go? Obviously going up the inside, or he's going around the outside here. Well, let's see. Up the inside. That's a bit brave. Back off of that, I think. Yep, nose to tail, the two Corvettes, they come through the Porsche curves in the background there. Whoa, a big slide for Scold, and up the inside there goes, I think that might have been David Ben actually passing them actually.
Ethan and David Ben have come out almost
together.
Neck and neck.
Yeah, David Ben hasn't pitted yet though, that's the gruesome thing. Let's see, Ethan's blasting his lights there, down there, and David Ben's going to have a nice run here down the straight. He's going to pull to the inside. Remember here, there's an LMP car and there's a bit of a battle there. Let's see, in the slipstream, he's going to go to the inside here, up to the inside of Ethan. Let's see, is he along the side? This is for the lead of the race there. Remember, he still has to pit up the inside. Ethan's not going to fight it. Bit of contact, a bit of contact. Round they go. Argy-bargy, argy-bargy. And they're getting a bit closer. Ethan's not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time there.
And blasts back past. He is not going to be a happy puppy there. VP, yeah, and let's hope the AI can retake over. But that is robbed him of the race.
Yeah, he's in again. Hopefully he can get control back. Yes, he's
lights.
happy about it. Flashing his lights.
All good. He's got it. He's back again. Let's see if he goes back in full throttle. It looks like it.
Yes, he is. He's back on track. But he's 1 minute behind. What can he do still?
Yeah, no, good to see it's back. Or see though, Duke's still battling.
Has lost the position to Scott.
Yeah, fun lost that position there. That's down towards Tech Road. So he's done him through the curves. That's a brave thing if he has. Ethan ahead now. Now he has to do is just rather just be cautious now and just keep his keep a smooth head. David Ben though, I think he's now net P2 in the race as well.
Possibly, yes, but look at his fuel, 13 liters compared to 46. So that's quite a lot.
Yeah, remember though, the Audi has the least amount of fuel of any car in the LMP category. It takes on the least amount of fuel, but has the least amount of fuel used per lap as well, so it evens itself out. Of course, the diesel engine has its advantage. And also it has disadvantages as well, but so far, only advantages so far in this race, isn't it, Troy?
I think so too, yes. Great camera shots here.
Yeah, great camera shots, the night time. They've had 1 hour to go in this race so far. If you've been enjoying it, smash that like button as well, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Keep up to date as well. We're on the official AOR website as well. It's been just released as well. It's been updated. There is Ethan coming to lap Scold, I think that is. That is Scold, yes.
One of the yellow cars.
Yeah, but I think it's either Scold or it's Matu.
Mantu.
It's Mantu, and that's going to be in the way there of David Ben, who almost runs into the back of him there. And that was awfully close. Awfully and unnecessarily close there to wiping out himself and the car ahead of him, what was Mantu there, and, well, pushing the limits, to say the least.
Alright, and behind him it's Dukes and VSR. Oh, it was VSR, but it's gone wide.
Yeah, VSR starting to struggle now, it seems.
Anyway, Dukes are losing time to Scald right now.
Yeah, Scold flying in these wet conditions. Like we said, we spoke to him earlier, Vetcher, and he said he was always confident in the wet. He likes the wet. Normally when I play with him, he always wants it to be racing in the rain. Normally I tend to be a little bit quicker than him in the rain, so I'd have loved to have been out there right now in these conditions. Would you like to be in these conditions, Vector, would you say?
Personally not, because personally I do not really like the wet that much, and also not GTE cars.
Yeah, well, the sun's starting to rise below in the circuit, of course. People can say because of the nighttime conditions, but it is currently around about 6 or 7 AM, if I'm not mistaken. It's hard to say what time it is in game, but it's definitely lighter now. I will tell you that much. It's definitely maybe 5 or 6 in the morning. It's hard to say, isn't it, actually, what time it is?
It's really hard to say, yes.
Of course, it's around about 9 o'clock in real life, I think. I'm not too certain what time it is right now. Around 9:30 UK time, so 10:30 in Central European time. Wherever you are in the world, by the way, in America or Asia, of course. wherever you are in the world, hope you're enjoying this beautiful race as well. Maybe if you're from Antarctica or the North Pole, hello if you're up there or down there as well. Maybe you could be anywhere, you could be on Mars, oh I know, who knows. BP's race lot running a bit wide there, look at the sun there, starting to break through the clouds, and look at the clouds as well, they're starting to break up a little bit as well. Beautiful cloud cover adventure, isn't it?
Yeah, you cannot see anything in the sky, there's one big grey lump. And a lot of clouds, a lot of thunder in the sky I think, but I don't think it's gonna hit the track.
Yeah, luckily, hopefully no thunder and lightning strikes any cars. As well, and of course, just over 33 years ago today, unfortunately, we lost the life of Stefan Beloff, of course, in that horrible crash, wasn't it, Vetcher, back in the 80s?
Yeah, I do not know a lot about that.
Yeah, Stefan Bell, of course, died just over 33 years ago, I just got told there, a little stat for you there. Died at Spa in, I think 80, not 33 years ago, so you can work that maths out in your head. Yeah, real shame to see drivers like that crash with checky eggs, if I remember that. Oh, I'm talking about crashing. Around he goes, he hit the wall. No, he hasn't. Locked the rears up there. That's the puddle down Indianapolis. And like we mentioned before, Battery, these puddles are very vicious.
They really are.
LMC George, that is Boniface just ahead of him here, and this is the battle for fourth position now. So, battling still going on. That's going into the other car. Yes, it is. That's a little bit too late on the brakes. And that, very luckily, I'd say for Boniface, hasn't done him too much damage, I don't think. That must have been very, very fortunate at that drive.
Yeah, it just looked like Boniface made a small mistake into that corner. LMC couldn't slow it down anymore. They got away with it.
Yeah, they've got away with it. Yeah, just about. Look at that puddle there. You can just see that is one of the puddles I was talking about here. Especially on the brakes. Scold is now closing up to 4 now in this race, so he is flying. There's Boniface. He's still ahead now. I think he's got away with no damage. But how long is he going to stay ahead? I don't know.
Oh, he hasn't.
Smashed. That's not going to be a very helpful sight there. Oh, look at the puddles there. He's complaining. And that is into karting, and that is a very scary section of track to lose. That is a flat corner normally in the drive.
I think the same thing Ethan had there,
yeah, same
because
thing,
he was up there as well.
Just ride the water. 1 minute there's grip, 1 minute there's no grip, and in these conditions, Vetcher, if you're activating, especially on this circuit, 9 times out of 10 you're going in the wall, isn't it?
Yeah, because they're also quite close here.
Yeah. Of course,
especially in the Porsche groups.
Yeah, the Porsche groups, they changed it in real life now, and hopefully we get an update in the game where they changed it there. RS Slick is still ahead of Scold, and that's the battle there for P4 and GTE. And I have to say, Scold is definitely my man of the match, or driver of the day at least. Of course, or driver of the night as well, I suppose, because he's been consistent, being quick. He's starting to come through the field in the rain. It's amazing to see the pace.
Oh, bit
too deep. He's in the wall. He's going to tap the wall. Yes, he does. Jake, a little bit late on the brakes there. That's going to.
I heard quite a weird sound when he was shifting down. So yeah. I think he shifted down a bit too early and instead of the car.
Yeah, I think he panicked a little bit there on the brakes, just to try and get the car stopped. Did come out on the end okay. 1 hour to go now officially. Scold still stuck behind there in terms of fuel. 29 litres of fuel. With Scold, how much has RS got? I think he's got about the same. Look at the puddles there.
He's got 40
so
almost
he's
a double.
A lot longer. But just back to that moment there, you can just see the puddles are forming a lot more now. They're really starting to get a bit more depth as it becomes daytime. Just showing us on the thing. I think Scolders went off actually into the chicane actually a little bit. Let's cut the corner a tad. Pushing it. Is it getting heavier, Vetro? Does it look like? I think it is.
It's hard to say because they're getting lighter again. We're coming into the morning. Now about 6 o'clock, I imagine. 5 or 6 o'clock.
Yeah, maybe even
local
7.
Time. And
it's too difficult to say. Still though, struggling, isn't he? On the power. Let's go on board of Zalin actually. He's coming to P2 and actually we can really see the puddles actually starting to form if we listen to the engine sounds.
engine sounds not really
Listening into the
active.
puddles down here, and let's see if we can spot it here. It's best to hit the water down here.
We're really slowing down for it as well.
Yeah, you can just see there's the puddle. He actually goes off there. You can mention, you can just see the puddle there in the background actually. Very, very large. Here comes David Ben. That's for fuel. Yes, it is. 3.8 litres of fuel in that car. Is he going to come out ahead of Sir Racer-Lot though?
I don't know.
There's a car up ahead there. Boniface has hit the wall.
Boniface.
Yeah, he's gone off somewhere. He's lost the front of the
missing
car,
a lot of crashes instead.
Yeah,
unfortunately, missing a lot of crashes.
Yeah, that's a shame, but
oh, the whole bonnet is gone.
Yeah, I don't
this
know
is
if
bonnet cam. This is bumper cam.
Yeah, I don't know if that's done damage to the car. I don't know what's happened there actually. If he's lost downforce or not, but either way, that's going to be a bit close.
Either way, he's holding up. He's holding up Race a little bit.
Yeah, I think is he going off the road again? His speaker's got through there. I think David Ben might actually get the lucky straw, and I think he might just come out just ahead. I'm not too certain. Where is David Ben? Is he coming out the pit lane now?
Oh, that's 007.
He's going to come out ahead, I think.
Will be close.
Through the chicane.
Anyway, in comes, well, half of Boniface.
Yeah, half of Boniface.
He's come out ahead of him. He's come out ahead of him.
Yeah, that is crucial. Boniface comes in. Expected, of course. That's going to be a long pit stop. And
bang,
front
and a new
again.
front wing.
Yep, new front everything. RS stuck behind Scott here. He's coming back through. I think Scott just got past actually. Yes, I think he has just got past a few moments ago. If I'm not mistaken. Maybe I've missed something as well. They're just coming down into... where are they coming down to? Back of the circuit. I think, yep, Indianapolis. Sometimes it gets so difficult to see where they are on the circuit vector in these conditions. Everything just seems to merge into the same thing, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does.
Forest and all that. I apologise by the way for getting a bit confused where we are. It's easy to do around a circuit that is about, I think it's about 8 and a bit miles long actually, this circuit. One of the longest circuits. The only other circuit that's longer is the Nordschleife, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe Classic Spa as well. Most of classic circuits are longer than this. Scott hits the puddles there. Because of the puddles here into the Porsche cars. And look at Scott, he's going a bit wider. I think actually almost off the circuit. This is incredible shots, by the way, on board of these cars as well. Just looking at the lights, we got on board of RS actually here. And you can just see it just feels so alive around this circuit. It looks amazing on my end. Hopefully you're getting it on the stream as well. The pure beauty of this is amazing. Just look at the puddles there on the exit corner. That is one of the leaders coming through, by the way. Might be Ethan this time coming through. Let's have a look. Is it Ethan coming through up the inside? I think it is. Yes, it is. He's coming up to lap Scold, and Scold rather sensibly just straight lines the corner there, and he'll I think that's a sensible idea actually there. That might cost him a little bit actually. Might give him a penalty as well for that.
Let's see about the penalties.
No, he's got a 1 second time penalty. Ethan's got 5. And Scott's only got a 1. But
oh, I removed the map. Dukes is in.
Yep. It's got a pit stop potentially. Hard to say. Maybe the tyres going off a bit. But yeah, back to that thing with Scott. Do you think that was the best thing to do, Vetru? Just going straight on with the car behind him?
I do not know. I've totally missed it because someone walked into my room.
Nonetheless, look, bit wide there into Terra Rouge. Just be careful there. It is easy to drop that car into Terra Rouge on those curbs. I've done them before. Have you gone off there? I think a few times more, Vetru, haven't you, in your career?
I've only driven one race around this track.
I've driven a few in my time, but it's a very difficult corner, I have to say. Easy to lose the rear. But nonetheless, RS stuck behind him. Dropping a little bit now, 2 seconds. The car ahead of Scold is going to be Friday, and that gap is, what's that gap? 48 seconds. Just look at the standing water there. Oh dear.
Ooh.
Now that is going to be the crucial thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's just a lonely race. I mean, 30 seconds behind Zelen, 46 in front of Scott. Scott, of course, he's got RS right behind him. Only 2.5 seconds, so quite close.
Well, let's just have a look and see. This is the area of the circuit that Scott least likes, proving it there as he clouts the curb very dramatically there. And luckily doesn't do any damage to the car. RS sitting behind. We'll go on board of RS potentially, or we'll go. Let's have a look at Scott as well. Let's go through these corners and let's see if any of these drivers are going to spin. On board we go. And actually, we'll get a good see if Scott makes a mistake. On board with RS. That'd be good to see. Then they come into the Mulsanne. Let's see what they can do then. Chuck it in. Scold. What's out here? We really want to run out a lot wider here and miss this water. Because you hit it, it's easy to lose the red. He's got away with it. RS has got away with it. But as the rain will continue to fall, looks like it is still falling pretty heavily. It's going to be interesting. Actually, maybe lighting up a little bit now as well, actually. Potentially a bit of a break in the cloud, but on that camera angle, definitely raining very heavily.
Still 54 minutes to go. Just under half of race left.
Yep, half the race to go, give or take. And the sun's starting to come through the clouds now up top, so maybe a break in the cloud is on the horizon. As I can start to see sunlight beaming through.
That Marshall getting a bit soggy out there.
Yeah. Pretty right due for the marshals and the spectators here. Very cold race, I have to say, for the drivers and teams alike. Of course, they're probably all enjoying soaking up with the radiators on in the cockpits, and well, maybe some of the drivers in real life maybe have their radiators on. It's starting to get a bit colder in the UK. It's still quite warm, but yeah, maybe getting that point. Depends on where they are. Matthew coming, getting lapped there by one of the Audis. That might be. It's hard to see which Audi that is. There's 4 of them. They could be. And there is Ethan.
In this case,
David Ben.
David Ben.
David Ben.
Yes.
And he's got a. Is that 1 second? Yeah, it is 1 second. He's very close actually. So Racelot's actually catching him very quickly, I've just noticed.
Yes, he was really close to him.
Yeah, he's
Look at this.
right there. I only just noticed it here. So Racelot is flying around this circuit. He's the quickest man on circuit by about 3 seconds. They come up to lap traffic and just gets out of the way there. So Racelot flies through the spray. David Ben is trying his hardest to battle here as Sir Racelot now puts on the pressure down into the chicane. And let's see who's he going to be between these guys. And this is really Ethan's lifeline, really. If Sir Racelot can get past David Ben quickly, then he's got maybe he'll have enough pace to catch Ethan. If he can't, I don't know.
1 minute 12 is the gap, so unbelievable if she is managing to do it.
Well, let's hope it doesn't end in tears or in a wall or anything like that. Although I say that, it almost does end in contact. So Racelot arging and barging his way through, and off goes one of the Fords, and that, I have to say, looks to me like VSR going round. I think it is. Yes, it is VSR Jake, and look at the sunlight now breathing through the clouds there down into Tet Route. So Racelot there getting his elbows out, and David Ben's coming back at him here, you know. This isn't over. Let's see. Slipstream pulls to the inside. So Racelot now has a race on his hands as the 2 Audis going battling here. Under the rain, under the sea, as you might call it here, in the warmer spray. And David Ben back down the inside. Is he going to pull across there? Give him a little bit of a squeeze. On the brakes they go. Bit of contact, I think, there. He's having a look up the inside. David Ben good on the exit. So Racelot has to sit behind. Great racing, by the way. This is the first we've seen battling between 2 cars for a actual position here on circuit, on merit. And here we go again. So Racelot pulls to the outside. He's going to go up the inside this time. Pulls alongside. Contact down the straight there. Look at this. This is getting tight now. Let's see. Is he close enough? I think he's still behind So race a lot here. I think actually, has he got him? I think he has. David Ben has been overtaken then. Great battling, but it's not over yet. As they come down to the third of the braking zone here. Is David Ben going to try and do a counter attack and try and come back through? Let's see. He's a little bit too far back in my opinion. And it looks to me to race a lot if he can get this car slowed down. Has got the position. Fantastic battling though between these two. Fair, clean I have to say. Bit of contact, but nonetheless very, very brilliant racing.
What I thought that happened out of the first corner, David Ben just got no traction, and looked at VPR's got so much speed and he almost hit the back of him.
Yeah, looks like that on mine as well as they come to get lap traffic there. That is some race lot just coming to pass lap, looks to be RS. Yes, it is.
Oh, he's gone off.
Oh, he's off. Yes, he is off. He's gone into the wall. He's gone into the wall. And that is crucial. He's locked the car up. He's gone straight on. And that is the puddle again on the exit of Indianapolis, taking yet another victim in this incredible race. And so Rachelot this time is the victim of an incident that is out of his control. And David Ben gets back up to second. That's a good place for him to be there. Now he's got 7 seconds to compose himself before he gets caught back up again.
Possibly, you don't know. You don't know how much damage he has.
Yeah, maybe he got damage. I don't think he hit the wall, you know. If he did, he hit it very lightly. So, very fortunate stuff for the driver there. He just comes up to lap one of the GTEs around the outside there. Very difficult stuff there. As you can see the sun. I think it's actually stopped raining a little bit, actually. The rain definitely looks a bit lighter now on the onboard spectrum, doesn't it? But on the outboard, it's still raining, but it's getting lighter. The sun comes out. And the race is still on.
It really is. It looks settled for first place. I think Ethan is going to have a breeze the rest of this race.
Well,
but
yeah,
of course, never say never.
Yeah, let's never say never. You know what happened before. When we said that, the leaders spun. And remember, still 50 minutes to go, for 48 minutes to go, but pretty much near 50. And the race is starting to come to a stage now where the sun's rising, the cars are getting warmer, they're getting lighter on fuel. Expect another pit stop or two in this race. But now comes the situation of who's it going to be, in what condition, and where are they going to be at the end of the race.
Scott currently in 4th position overall. Really lonely race. Now, 2 seconds behind him is RS. He's getting closer.
Yeah, we're starting to close up, and let's see what they're going to do there between those two. Because they're closing up. It's all getting tighter now at the front. But it is still VSRJ currently in P6. And he's been struggling a little bit now in this race. He's getting caught by Matthew a little bit now. The gap. A little bit of time. There's Duke Mills there through the puddles. And there is Matthew. He's only 6 seconds behind VSR Jake now. Closing up, there's Ethan Lope leading the race. And he's just got to do all he can now from here to the end. And he'll claim a historical win in his eyes, I feel.
If he does.
Yeah, that is the question, if he does. A long time coming. But it's still got a little while to go.
It's looking likely.
Yeah, it's looking likely he could make the win, but it's definitely looking
he actually had just made it sure by a glitch of the game, which of course not the way you want to win.
Yeah. And of course, it was, like I said, like you said, actually, not the way he wants to win, but in the end of the day, a win's a win. Sometimes the cruelest of wins can feel the most rewarding. So, Vettel, you've been keeping an eye on this race, of course, as like I have, but who do you think's been the driver of the day so far?
Oh, really hard to say. I think Scald has deserved a bit of a title, because of course he started way at the back and he fought his way back to 4th. Let's see. I think VP as well. Even after having a lot of issues, still fighting to get that 2nd and even 1st place back. So I think he's done a really great job. Who else? Yeah, really hard to say actually. The race is not over yet, so we will have to see based on the results everyone gets.
Yeah, well, I feel Scold is actually doing the best job so far. He's been keeping the nose clean. He came from the back of the grid, by the way. 2 disconnections from this race, of course, but well, 1 disconnection from the race, I suppose, actually. But it's going interesting, actually. We've lost 2 drivers, though, from the race. We were starting with 16. We're down to 14, so we've lost someone in this race since that.
Joshua Luke.
Joshua Luke. I think we've lost someone else, but I'm not too certain who we've lost.
Yeah, EPR, I think.
Yeah, EPR, yeah.
EPR Archil.
Yeah, EPR Archil out of the race as well. But RS Slick Up, currently P5 up front though. It is Ethan, David Ben, VP, LMC, and then Boniface in the GTE.
Scalded in.
Yeah, Scalded in the pit lane. It is.
He's gonna go on the dries.
Oh
no, for fuel.
It's a bit too.
This is a really, really unfortunate time of pits because he's now pinning for fuel, but he will soon have to pit again for dry tires because it stopped raining.
Yeah, got 44 minutes to go. The rain seems to have stopped, but I think there's about another 6 or 7, maybe 8 laps before it dries out, of course. So that is going to be difficult. It's Gold in the pit lane. But it is Alan in P2, and